680 and 105.7. Coverage of Wildcats basketball is also presented by Ale 81, Kentucky's original ginger soft drink since 1926. Kelly, Kentucky, the employment solution expert. KellyJobs.com. UPS Jobs. Apply today at UPSJobsKY.com. Cox's Spirit Shop and Evergreen Liquors, Louisville's neighborhood liquor store. Genesis Diamonds, the official jeweler of the Kentucky Wildcats. BJ Heating and Cooling. Call the experts you can trust. BJHeatCool.com. Sonatrol Security, the #1 rated security company in Louisville. SonatrolKY.com. And Kroger, fresh for everyone. Now, here are your hosts, Mike Gandolfo, Jason Ence, and Zach Cantrell.
All right, welcome to the Gold Standard Postgame Show. I'm Mike Gandolfo, Jason Ence, Zach Cantrell. The phone number is 502-267-9680. That's UPS Jobs Textline, which we already is getting full, is 502-437-9680. And we've got the Facebook feed going, the YouTube feed going, the Twitter feed going. Don't comment on Twitter though. I can't get any of those. And I think at the end of the day, there's two good things, man. We tried hard. And we're still dear friends, right? And now at least our kids can focus on the most important day in Kentucky basketball history, and that's the NBA draft.
Yeah, I didn't know he was Mike 3.
That's exactly what could happen. The Gold Standard postgame show is on 502-267-9680. UPS Jobs Textline 502-437-9680. I find it
Strebel's online too. We got to get to him.
Find it very interesting that we have so many UPS jobs and Kelly jobs, and now we got someone else who should be looking for a job. We're everybody's Super Bowl, man. We're everybody's Super Bowl. We're gonna get everybody's best shot.
We made jokes all week about Tony Bennett. Made jokes on here, made jokes on Twitter. Gave Locke crap, gave everybody crap about he hasn't done anything since he won that title. Hasn't won any postseason games. Well, John Calipari hasn't won a title in 14 years or in 12 years.
Hasn't done anything since 2013.
And hasn't won anything in a couple years now. And we did a Selection Sunday show, reaction show. You, me, Max Godby.
Max Godby correctly predicting that Grizzly Bear would beat a Wildcat.
He did.
Yeah.
Look, there might be something to Max's system. We'll get into that later. But we talked for a little bit about this game, and we were looking at the metrics and everything else, and we said, well, this isn't a team that can hurt Kentucky the way that most teams have because they don't drive to the rim. And we said as long as they guard the three-point line and don't leave guys open, they'll be fine. They've got a height advantage. They shouldn't have any problem out rebounding this team. This isn't a team that attacks the offensive glass that much. What we didn't account for was the fact that we can't guard guys off screens. And even when we play teams that don't rebound the ball very well, we struggle with offensive rebounding. And we gave up
7 offensive rebounds in the first 6 minutes.
Way too many offensive rebounds early on. We should have been up 10-0. We weren't. We made our first shot and then missed like 6 in a row because it's what we do when we come out and start a game. And then we let their guy get an open 3. And then he started hitting fall-away threes and fadeaway threes and threes with guys in his face. And he started up faking, letting a guy go flying 10 feet past him and then buried another wide open 3. And then, it still shouldn't have been enough.
Not even started.
But even then, it still shouldn't have been enough. But we've got this guy on the sideline named John Calipari, who doesn't know how to coach his way out of a wet paper bag, who doesn't know how to calm his team down, who waits 15 minutes before he starts doubling this guy coming off screens and denying him the ball. And then he, for whatever reason, stops doing it. We have guys who play down to the level of their competition. They've done it all year. That all goes to the head coach. And we talked on Sunday night about a coach we used to have by the name of Tubby Smith. And we talked about the fact that he got run out of town, not because he got knocked out by double-digit seeds in the first round.
You know why? That's only happened
because
twice.
He couldn't win the title. But because he could only get to the Sweet 16. 10 lost Tubbies, what they called him. What? This guy apparently can lose to double-digit seeds in the first round, not once, but twice. and we're supposed to be like, oh, well, we'll get to it next year. He's got a lifetime contract.
Listen,
I'm done with him. I'm done with him. I'm done with John Calipari. I don't care if he's the head coach next year. I will not buy in. Strebel and I had this same discussion after the St. Peter's game, and we bought back in. I'm done. I am done with this fraud. He won a title on the back of the best generational talent of the last 20 years. He won a title on the back of Michael Kidd-Gilchrist making an insane block on an inbounds play because he was about to pee down his leg again in a national championship game like he did at Memphis. And this man has drugged this program to where they're not just, we're not a laughingstock once. We're a national laughingstock twice. We've gotten our jokes off at U of L all year. You know what U of L didn't have to do? Lose to a double-digit seed in the first round 2 times in 3 years.
They did lose it to Paul, though.
I don't care. To have this talent, to have this roster, and completely piss down your leg, both legs, giant puddle on the middle of the floor in Pittsburgh, I'm done with this guy. And I know I'm not the only UK fan that feels this way. And you were done with him last year.
I was done with him.
And you bought back in this year. I bought back in this year. UK fans all over the place bought back in this year because this team was talented. They were fun. We're sitting here talking about how many draft picks are going to have. But like you said earlier, best day in college.
It's
okay because now they have a couple extra days to start planning for the best day of the year.
But they'll let us act like we don't know what they're going to do and whatever else, and we'll have all this like
Strebel's online too.
Really, but really, I don't even want to see a preseason magazine next year. By the way, just to let you all know, Cal's going to be back next year. I don't even want to see it because all I care about is like, can we get 8 NBA All-Stars? Because that's what it's all about, man. Draft picks and All-Stars. Why? I want to hang a banner, man. Why are we not hanging a banner for 7 All-Stars this year, Ence? That's the way you should do it, right? That's what it's all about. It's about these kids and their dreams. 7. I don't. So what? Yeah, in the 2020s we're 57 and 36. We're gold standard. It's gold standard, Ence. This is the gold. This is the gold standard. We got 7 All-Stars, 7 NBA All-Stars, Ence. I mean, how can you not say that this is not the greatest program of all time? 7 NBA All-Stars.
I will say there is a silver lining because I just got the notification from Bet365 that I won not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 different bets because early in the game, I turned to Zach and said, we're not winning this game. And I started laying money on Oakland money line. So at least I got that. At least I can go buy something to drink later.
I will tell you that the reality of it is that if this would have happened in some other years past, like in some of the past coaching situations, this dude wouldn't even get off the plane. He might not even get on the plane home. Just stay at Pittsburgh. I'm sure he's got his old family home there or something. It's bad.
Real quick,
it's embarrassment.
We got full phone lines, so we're going to get to the phones in just a sec. I want to say 2 things. One, our guy Browdown on Twitter pointed out Tubby got bounced because of back-to-back 8 seeds. Unthinkable back in the day, and we're eating this crap now.
Yep.
Number 2, we're not going to hang up on U of L fans. I know there are going to be U of L fans calling in tonight. I get it.
Now we
deserve it. Get your jokes off. But you're going to get 60 seconds. Because we have UK fans that want to call in. We will let you get your jokes off, but at 60 seconds. So get your best material out early so that we can get to the UK fans.
And by the way, also, Ence, we're committed to this show.
Yeah, we'll be here.
Everyone you all keep calling. We're going to stay on as long as it takes. We will. This is not going away. So you all hang in there with us. We're going to go all night long if we have to. A 61% winning percentage in the 2020s. A 61% winning percentage.
It's pathetic, man.
I told Blank.
And how much does he get paid? $9 million.
All right, let's go to the phone lines. We got James on line 1.
Well, no, we got to go to line 2 first.
Line 2 is James.
We got to go to Big Rig.
That's James though. You ruined it, man.
What's up, James?
Hey, this is the Gold Standard postgame show, and we want to hear about how you support the kids and make sure that you and also who do you think is going to win in the UK bowling tournament this weekend?
Yeah, the UK bowling tournament. He let them bowl, guys. They got to go. Hey, guys, guess what we got to do? They got to go bowling. Did you hear that? I mean, who do you think
he wants to be like Stoops?
It was Trey. Can you guys believe that Trey he bowled a 200? No, This dude's got to go. Get him the hell out of here. Get him away from Kentucky basketball. Get him away from the campus. Kelly Craft got $18 billion freaking dollars. I don't care if you support Trump, Biden, whatever old geriatric deep state mug you back. I don't care. Give the money to Mitch Barnhart so you can freaking fire John Calipari. Get his ass out of here. Pay the $43 million and get him out. This was the most sickening, ridiculous, just asinine performance I've ever seen. They did nothing to guard. They did nothing. I mean, Reed Shepherd looked scared to death. He looked at deer in headlights. Number 1 draft pick, my ass. I mean, Rob Dillingham, he was so focused on Kim Kardashian's clothesline, he can't even hit a damn shot. Can't hit a floater, can't hit a three, nothing. Thank you, Antonio Reeves, for at least you showed up tonight. I feel bad for him because he balled out all season long.
27 points tonight for him, by the way.
Yeah, he played great. He's the only one that played great. But Oakland came in. Here's the thing, guys, and you guys didn't mention this, but this is what it is. Actually, I think you did at the top of the show. Oakland called their shot all week long.
Oh, Campy after the game said, did you see all their All-Americans out there?
Yeah, their coaches, their players, everybody called their shot. Nobody is scared of Kentucky basketball anymore because they know that John Calipari runs a daycare now. He runs a daycare. I got to show everybody how smart I am by starting DJ Wagner and Justin Edwards and these players that can't play. That's what it is. He's going to show it. Now he's a dumbass. Now everyone sees how stupid he is. He's stubborn. He's stupid. Get him.
Cal's buyout's $34 million.
That's what he put on his timeline earlier. He was like, "Hey, wait till next year." And I'm not calling Andy out. I'm just saying that this is like we're this done. He's like, "Can't wait to see the swaggy Cal again on my timeline 10 months." No, that's done. Like fans are done. That was the breaking point. That is it. Just because the way you guys highlighted it. It was the season. You had Aaron Bradshaw. You had DJ Wagner, Justin Edwards, Rob Dillingham. He had every single player he wanted because the excuse was, Oscar Tshiebwe clogged up the line, or he can't do with older players. The transfer portal isn't what you're used to. He needs elite talent. He doesn't need 5-year guys. He needs elite talent. So he got the elite talent again. There wasn't a big that clogged up the lane. This is John Calipari. He is the X factor. He is the common denominator, and he needs to go. This ain't local basketball BS where we sit around and pretend that our players are good and our coaches are good when they're not. We can call a spade at Kentucky basketball. They talk about they're the smartest basketball fans in America. No, they're not. And they would have let this gone on forever and ever. So I don't want to hear a damn thing from any U of L fan. You had Kenny Payne for 2 years. Give me a break. Get out of here. I don't want to hear about that BS either. But John Calipari needs to go. And the funniest thing in the world would be if John Calipari gets fired and Mitch Barnhart hires Scott Drew. I'd laugh my ass off.
Real quick, Kyle Tucker just tweeted out, Cal wasted his most talented, most fun team in years. It's a fireable offense.
Can you ever imagine that we would have a game that Justin Edwards would have more field goals at 4, by the way, 4 field goals than Dillingham and Shepherd and Wagner combined?
They played scared. Reed Shepherd played Dillingham played stupid. Reed Shepherd played scared. That's the difference. Reed Shepherd played scared. Dillingham played stupid. They had Calipari. He doesn't do anything. There's no tweak. There's no turn. There's nothing. He has nothing left in his bag. Nothing.
Back to
and real quick too. We've talked about repeatedly this season that this team needed something else to go to if the 3 ball wasn't falling. 9 of 28 tonight from beyond the arc.
Well, Campy knew that the bigs couldn't hurt him. He knew the bigs couldn't hurt him. So what did he do? He focused on making sure that the guards had hard shots. And look, the best thing happened for Oakland tonight. Kentucky couldn't hit threes. They can't go inside. There was nobody to go inside to. They didn't develop one big man this season. Not one big man was developed under this staff. It's a joke. They all need to go. Orlando Antigua, Chin Coleman, all of them. Fire all of them. I cannot support this team. I can't support this team. I can't do it. If John Calipari is the coach, I will not support this team. Period. Bar none. End of story. I'm done.
All right. Thanks a lot, James, for calling in. I hope you call in another time. Although it'd have to be next season. We'll see you in football season, maybe.
Are we gonna get a special edition of the show tomorrow?
We're playing Westwood 1. I won't be on the show until Monday because we're playing tournament games.
Hey, all seriousness, man. Safe travels down in Atlanta, and
thanks.
Look forward to the show on
the
Monday.
The Campy, go ahead. Yeah, go have a good trip, man. The Campy calling his shot thing is real because, like, he sat there, he went on the national media and said, "We're going to take out their guards, and their bigs can't beat us." and they extended that 3-2 zone, and they made it very like defensively. It's stuff that I've been asking for all year long. Like they actually try to take things away that the other team likes to do, and they made it really tough in the first half. And Kentucky did not adjust. Campy's an incredible coach, by the way, and then because of that, it looked like at halftime they're like, hey, you know what? Let's pound it inside. So what did they do the first 2 possessions of the second half? They pounded inside. They scored 5 points. They get an and one and a dunk, and then they go away from it because we talked about it on the Sunday show. They have 2 guys at 6'7" and 1 guy at 6'9". We have 3 7-footers, and they weren't doubling the 7-footers because they were too concerned about what would happen on the perimeter. They were letting everything happen around the basket, one-on-one. They had 3 guys over 6'6".
And they were hitting shot. There were multiple times where we had Trey Mitchell and Ugo or Big Z guarding a guy, and he'd hit a shot over both of them, a turnaround, hook shot or something like that. We have all this talent, all this athleticism. We can't finish around the rim when we need to. Make bad passes, bad decisions. Rob Dillingham deciding he wants to go YOLO ball random times during the game. Yeah, he hit the crazy 3, but it was a terrible shot.
Hey, man.
His shot selection's awful. His decision-making is awful. He wants to go to the NBA, fine.
Yeah, he'll be an NBA All-Star. We'll add it to our list.
He's got to work on a lot of things at that next level because he can't guard.
We're going to add it to the list, man. Another NBA All-Star.
He can't guard a closed door.
Maybe we'll get an NBA Rookie of the Year. Yes. That's the dream.
By the way,
that's the dream, baby.
By the way, that's the dream now.
By the way, I am enjoying. It's hilarious. All these U of L fans that are calling the UPS Jobs text line and leaving voicemails because you're too stupid to figure out that you have to text the text line.
Well, let's not even bring up the word U of L anymore. How about that? All right.
Yeah, let's get back to the phones.
All right.
Our guy Joe, our very loyal listener, UK, longtime fan. Sorry you had to watch that direct tonight, but what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are it's been a pleasure talking to y'all all year. Y'all do an excellent job on this show, and I really appreciate y'all doing it. What can I say? We got all those athletes, but we can't turn this team over. Seven times, and we had about 12 turnovers. I've been saying all year long I thought that we could win the turnover battle. We could win the game, but tonight we lose the turnover battle. And, yeah, he's got to go. I mean, look it ain't rocket science. I mean, we got an athletic director I don't even think can hire a ladies basketball coach, more or less have the guts to tell John that he has to go. I just thought, well, he's got a lifetime contract. So the bottom line is he tried to play half-court basketball again, and we found out we're not very good playing half-court basketball. I vowed not to bring that up again. But, my God, it was just like the A&M game all over, except they didn't drive to the basket. They didn't have to. They just could throw it down low, or they could get open threes anytime they wanted it. And we just, for whatever reason, he just doesn't believe in trapping the basketball. He doesn't believe letting them go for steals. And at the end, we got our ass kicked again because he thinks he can outcoach the other team in half-court basketball. It's really comical. It cost him a championship back in 2015, and he still hasn't learned his lesson that he did something wrong in that Wisconsin game. And that's what 2024, 9 years later, and we're still playing the same stupid ass half-court defense too that he can't coach. So, long story short, but you know we ain't got athletic director that's going to get rid of him. So what do y'all do? We just sit here and I guess we'll wait till next year and wait for 8 guys to go to the NBA draft again. So that's pretty much y'all. That's Tomato Talk.
Well, the reality is it's not a lifetime contract. It is up at 2029, and it is only a $34 million buyout. And let's face it, we're Kentucky. If we want to buy out $34 million, we can buy out $34 million. I mean, if we want to have the stones to change things, because since 2019, again, a 62% winning percentage. We're talking about where Kentucky's supposed to be elite, not average, not good, elite. An elite college basketball winning percentage would be what? 85, 88, 90%?
Yeah.
61%. We haven't won an SEC tournament since 2018. Lost 3 straight SEC tournament games. There are things happen. There's only one coach that we've had that has lost to an opponent as a top 3 seed in the NCAA tournament in the opening round, and that's Mr. John Vincent Calipari.
And he's now responsible for Kentucky's this is according to Action Network, he's responsible for Kentucky's 2 worst NCAA against the spread losses.
Yeah.
The
St. Peter's
17.5. And here, but there are only 2 other coaches that have ever lost twice in the tournament as 13-point favorites or more. John Thompson III and Matt Painter. Not really the company you want to be in because both of those guys are considered to be frauds. And it's just I'm seeing people defending him saying, no, it's not his fault, it's the shooter's fault.
What?
Well, yeah, if it's one team, okay, sure. There's only one common denominator between all these teams, and it's not a player. It's a coach who has a system that he doesn't run very well. He has other coaches that run it better than he does. They run it better than he does against him. He doesn't adapt. He doesn't know how to draw up plays. He doesn't know how to make adjustments on the fly when it needs to be. He takes too damn long. This is
gold standard, baby. Gold standard. Listen, it's
ridiculous.
The person who just said, "Hey, he can't help the shooter," that guy was a Division II transfer who didn't even start tonight. And if you can come up with a defensive game plan to not let a guy catch the ball, or you figure out how they're running them off screens. And by the way, again, Campy did a great job because once Kentucky figured out one screen action, he switched it to another screen action, and then it was like we've never guarded screens before. And so, like, your idea of like why he stopped doubling wasn't that he stopped doubling. They just moved him from a different location with a different type of ball screen, which involved a different player. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh, what is this thing? It's a ball screen. Oh, you know what? When we're playing with urgency at the end of the game and we got to get off a quick shot, maybe we should try a ball screen to get someone open for a quick look, or we could just pass it up top and waste 8 seconds when you're down 4. And Justin Edwards might have played the best out of all the freshmen, and he missed a wide open dunk. We haven't even talked about that yet. He literally had no one around him and could not elevate enough to get the ball over the rim.
Can we drop Joe?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Let's get back to the phones. Let's get Steve in here, and we've got an open phone line. If somebody drops off, another line opens.
We just hit 3,000 active listeners on the stream. By the way, 3,000 people right now listening.
Well, we appreciate all you guys listening. Steve, you're up next on the UK Basketball Postgame Show.
Hello, gentlemen. How you doing?
I'd be better if I had a drink in my hand right now.
Spring practice is going on, baby.
And I rarely drink, so
Spring football practice. We got a new offensive coordinator. We're going to be talking about all that stuff. It's the only good thing going on right now.
Oh yeah, we're going to run the ball 90% of the time.
There it is.
Anyway,
got that Ohio State running back.
Yep.
Our 4th string running back.
All year with this type of talent, if you can't get them to the Final Four, you've got to go. You got to go. That's all there is to it. Look, next year, I don't think it's going to be like it was in Louisville this year where we have 5,000 fans in the seats because I know the Kentucky fan base. I know how much we love basketball. But this is the most talent this man's ever going to have again. So why would I believe he's ever going to make it to the Final Four? I'm not convinced he'll ever make a Sweet 16 if he stays 10 more years. That's just my opinion. But,
how does it take you to get to the finals of the SEC tournament? Can we get the championship game of the SEC tournament?
Yeah, well, this year we didn't win one. So, nope. I mean, and Mississippi State got bounced today, and I was a little surprised about that because they did have talent. But, all we can do is just make our voices be heard, and the fans have got to make our voices be heard. It's okay to be too old or to not have the drive, whatever the situation is. It is coaching. Yes. It's half-court basketball. You just have to understand to be better than this. And no, they should not have been bowling. They should have been putting in a 3-2 zone so they could run 3-point shooters like the team they knew they were going to play had off the 3-point line. But they didn't do that. They could have used it 2 or 3 times tonight. But they didn't have it. They did not have the right defensive coaching tonight. It wasn't just offense. It was defense as well. It just wasn't good enough. And I feel really sorry for Antonio Reeves, who came back to lose in the first round. But the man proved himself. Last year when he missed, 10 3-pointers, I can't imagine what that's like. What did he do? He came back this year and had an All-American season, and nobody gave him credit for it.
He was incredible.
He carried our team. He carried us most of the season. In tons of games, the young man had to carry us. And so he should be proud of himself. But this is just disappointing. We're Kentucky. We have to be better than this. That's all there is to it. So now let's see what happens. Can we get rid of the guy? Probably not. So next year, if they don't care, why should I buy their products? Why should I buy a Kentucky hat? Why should I buy a shirt? Why should I go to Rupp Arena? If you don't put out a product that I want to see, I'm not paying for it. That's all there is to it. It'll hurt your pocket, Kentucky. Get rid of the guy now.
Steve does bring up a good point. Maybe we should get Cal like a low T sponsor. He can get eugenics with like Frank Thomas and Doug Flutie. Is that the answer? Like,
We can see what we do.
I think, man, some sort of whatever, I think maybe he might need that. I don't know. I feel for the guy.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate the call. We're going to go rapid fire here through the calls because we got full lines. 502-267-9680. Up next is Jerry. What's up?
Hello?
I can't.
Hey, you're on.
Yeah,
What's up, Jerry?
What's up, Jerry?
Hey, buddy. Hey, want to talk to you for a minute. I heard y'all say earlier on here that y'all made fun of
Luther.
I'm a Louisville fan. And I got to tell you, I feel for y'all guys to have the talent that y'all had and got bounced in the first game. When y'all were here at Louisville, y'all were holding those signs up saying, bring Kenny Payne back to Kentucky. He ain't here anymore, so y'all might want to consider him instead of John Calipari. Because Cal is getting good talent in there, but he just don't know what to do with it when he gets it. Would you agree?
It's the same year over and over again, man. That's been the same year to me since 2019, and so I'm with you. So thanks for calling tonight, Jerry. Appreciate you. All right, what we got next?
502-267-967 or 9680 brings up a line. We're going to go next to Walter. You're up on the UK postgame show.
Walter, how's it going tonight, man?
Hey, man, guys, great to hear from you. Great to be on the show, man. I just have a few comments. Man, I've been saying this for years about Coach Cal. Started from the one and done stuff. Okay, fine. The excuse has been, it's a young team, so we've given them a pass. You get the support from Dickie V. Oh, he's the greatest coach. He'll be in the Hall of Fame. But I'm a diehard UK fan. I've gotten many arguments with my fellow UK fans because they're so up Cal's rump. And I'm like, hey, I know basketball. Caller before said something about, or maybe it was one of you guys, about how drawn up plays, especially when he needs something now. I always said he's not a great X and O's coach.
Which Tubby was great at, by the way. Tubby was amazing at it.
I totally agree with you. The only downside of Tubby, as we all know, is, give him these players. And, look what he did with his first year when he got the players, 98?
They wouldn't have anybody scoring over 80 on him. I can tell you that right now.
Man, defense was the key. So my brother and I were going back and forth, and, he said it the best. Coach Cal is a great player manager. So he manages these players, and it's a difference of a player manager than a coach.
And they all love him. I mean, Maxie comes back and talks about how much he loves him and how Cal's there for him, and that's all great, man. I think it's awesome that we had 7 NBA All-Stars, but at the end of the day, like, you're right. He's a personality manager. He's not a basketball coach. Maybe that's what you should do. Move him to chair 2, right? Let him be chair 2. Let him be the grandpa.
I'm telling you. And then one more thing, as a UK fan, we can hear the passion in our voices here. We don't care. Now, granted, it is about the kids at the end of the day. But we don't care that we send the most kids to the NBA. That's not what we hired you for. We hired you to put a daggone banner up in the rafters. And another comment. I'm sorry, guys. Don't mean to take too much time.
You're good, man. We're here all night.
Three 7-footers and not crack the top 10?
I've got about a 27-second clip.
Let alone
he threw them under the bus.
3 7-footers and an elite program? Come on. How do you not coach that?
It's pretty bad, man. Walter, we appreciate you. You haven't called in this year, have you? Is this your first call?
No, it's my first time. I do live here in Louisville now. My buddy just texted a message because, obviously we're going to jump on another post-game show because I wanted to hear my fellow fans and what they thought. And finally, after what I've been saying probably for, maybe 6 years, and, I'm not down and, just trying to down Coach Cal because I'm a hater. No. I know basketball. And, I can see something that since 2015.
Well, I appreciate it. I'm with you since 2015 too, man. But you keep calling back, and this is the post-game show because we're not in anybody's pockets. So we have nothing tied to our opinions right here.
Gotta be.
We know that the John Calipari press conference is delivered by the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety. Whether you walk, pedal, or drive, let's share the road safely. Share the road, Kentucky. Do we have a little clip, Zach?
Yeah, this is thanks to our guy, Patty Ice, shadow producing from North Carolina.
I miss Patty Ice.
I do too. But
You drop Walter.
so this, we'll get back to the phone lines here in just a second. But apparently John Calipari said something that UK fans are going to want to hear.
This is gonna explode things, man.
And but we had some guys that didn't play the way they'd been playing all year.
Drop Walter.
We knew the zone would be tough, but we miss shots we don't miss. And the preparation, I thought they were in a great trying to keep them loose, but when the game started, they just, you had some guys not play to the level they could play.
Well, whose fault is that? If I just hang with me here, let's say I had a basketball team and I wanted somebody to be able to coach them, for lack of a better word, and teach them and prepare them and get them ready. Like a guy who would stand in a nice fancy suit on the sideline. We'd probably have to pay him some money. This is a tough job.
Are you talking about bringing back Rick Pitino?
No, I'm talking about hiring a guy to coach the team. And he'd have, I don't know, November, December, January, February. Hell, we'll even give him March to get ready. And then when the season's over, we'll have him go and prepare for the NCAA tournament by playing in a conference tournament.
You're saying this word prepare like this. I'm confused as a Kentucky basketball fan about this word prepare. I don't know what that means. What does prepare mean?
Well, neither does John Calipari, apparently.
Excellent.
I mean, good. I almost cussed.
Zach, you better have that dump line ready.
You know how you get? You give a damn about the SEC championship.
Yep.
The one that you tell UK fans, I don't care about it.
You don't have to win it, but you need to get to the championship.
Friday night, we sat here for 2 hours talking about the fact that those were important games.
Mm-hmm.
That gives them a taste of what the NCAA tournament's like. And they pissed down their legs.
You're getting permission right now to say cuss and just let it out. They're saying, our boy Zach Downey says, just cuss. Just let it out. Let it all go. For him to throw the kids under the bus on that, though,
I've lost all respect for this.
It is very obvious that they had. I jokingly said it, Zach, even on the show yesterday when we with Louis, when we gave our little brief scouting report, that might have been more scouting than what Kentucky did for Oakland. But I'm not sure that's the case. I mean, they really probably thought that they could just show up, get the dub, and leave. And when you're going against a really good coach like Campy, and you got you got 4 guys out there, 2 grad students and 2 seniors that are their top 4 players. They know it's their last time playing. They're not giving up easily. All right, let's go to the next one.
We're going to head back to the phone lines. We have another special caller here, our guy Max Godby, who hung out with us for a couple hours on Sunday when we were talking about.
He picked the Grizzly. The Grizzly beats the Cat.
Fine. We'll get through this first game, no problem. And Max said, "Well, look, I picked teams based on what their mascots could do against other mascots." He tried to warn us. Max tried to warn us.
Good. Hey guys, how are you all doing, man? You all having a good night?
Well,
we're having a blast.
We got to have somebody like send us some pizza. Maybe we're gonna be here for a while.
Diener, I need you to send Zach something because this poor guy behind the glass. By the way, huge shout out to Zach. He is pulling serious duty tonight, and that's gonna get marked.
What time did you get here, Zach?
I got this morning.
Yeah.
About 9:15ish.
Okay, there you
go. Diener, I know you're listening. Send help.
Oh gosh. Well, guys, I hate to become all of a sudden the greatest basketball expert after 1 year, less than one season of watching the sport, but I kind of have to say I told you so on this one. It's all about watching the trends. If you haven't really done well, if you haven't gone to the Sweet 16 since 2019, you've shown that you consistently can't perform in a SEC tournament, and basically any tournament that matter. It's not going to be a good time. The expectations were very, very low, but oh my gosh, it wasn't that low. I mean, the dude that was shooting for Oakland, he looked like Philip Seymour Hoffman in a long-term college.
I don't know if you saw my thing, but you might not be old enough to remember this. So I said he looks like the antagonist in the original Teen Wolf movie that gets Michael J. Fox that was playing basketball.
I saw your tweet on that. I mean, dude, watching this dude shoot a three, it looks like me trying to shoot a three, except they kept going in. I was like, bro, like this is, I don't know a lot about basketball, but the technique of this three does not seem right. Somewhere Patino was having a stroke watching it. And
oh man,
I was like, how does he keep making these? But it's like, oh, that's right. Everyone's Super Bowl. It's a double-digit seed, and Calipari throws up on himself in the tournament. Yeah, guys, I wish to say it was shocking, but I was kind of expecting it. And then once he started hitting those threes, it was like, oh man, here we go again.
Well, I'm telling you right now, too, we're getting a lot of people on the Facebook feed and stuff like the YouTube feed talking about, can U of L just help us here and pull a Satterfield like Cincinnati hired Satterfield? U of L fans, turn your coaching search just down the road. Go hire John Calipari. Please, U of L fans. He'll get you all the recruits you want. You guys wanted top-notch talent. Josh Hurd, I'm begging you. Go hire John Calipari. Please.
Go hire. Mike, that's not the right sales pitch for this. You look at Josh Hurd and said, hey, I can get you a national championship winning.
This is what they wanted, right? This is what U of L fans want. The national championship winning Hall of Famer.
College basketball Hall of Fame coach.
Basketball Hall of Fame, not just college basketball, regular basketball, like Springfield.
Basketball Hall of Famer.
Doesn't have scandals. No scandals.
He's never been.
He has scandals as well.
He's never been proven guilty of anything.
He's a TV star. He's been
great personality for it.
Knows how to use NIL.
He knows NIL like the back of his hand, and you need just a good old fashioned snake oil salesman. He's right there for the picking. No defenses up.
Take him.
So easy. Just go and take it.
No buyout either, I don't think.
We'll pay the buyout.
We'll take care of the buyout.
We'll take care of the buyout. Just
hey.
And he knows the rivalry. He understands how important this rivalry is.
He does. Yes.
Dude, the greatest change of events of all time. Calipari goes to Louisville. Patino comes back to Kentucky.
No, I don't want that.
Why would you not want Patino? I would want Patino every day of the week, man. The Duke is awesome.
The Duke. We tried the whole just hiring a recruiting coordinator to coach basketball, and we've seen that doesn't work that well. Maybe if we hire someone that's able to do the X's and O's, it would help.
There's the idea. Is John Calipari any better than if we had Vince Merrill as our basketball coach? Vince Merrill for basketball coach.
I think it's worse because Vince Morrow knows his X's and O's.
Well, I saw somebody tweet out earlier that John Calipari should go talk to a proven winner to see what he needs to change. There's one. They said there's one across campus. His name's Mark Stoops.
Yeah, and he goes bowling all the time too.
Oh shoot! Well, guys, hey, I'll let you go. I know you all got a bunch of callers. Appreciate what you all do, man. Great show tonight.
Thanks, bud.
Appreciate it, Max.
We're gonna give me Patino on the thing right here from Ben Honeycutt. I love it. Come on, Ben. I guess X does allow us to have the comments live on here, which is great, man.
Nice.
We are over 4,000 people right now.
And that's not counting the stream. That's
just people watching the show who actually only get to see my ugly mug, and that's it.
502-267-9680. We have a full bank of calls, so we're going to head back, and we're going to bring our guy Luther on.
Luther.
What's going on, man?
Luther, we got the dump button ready. Do we need it?
I'd like for you to need it, but I'm going to try to hold it. This phone needs to go. I'm sick and tired since 19 of this BS. He's a bum. He can't coach. He just got out-coached by Count Dracula and Eddie Munster. It's sickening. I can't take it anymore. None of us fans can take it anymore. He's a bum. He's a bum. I'm getting ready to say some stuff I shouldn't say. He's a bum. He's a piece of shit. Late.
Oh, there it was. All right. We hopefully we got that one, Zach. Do we dump? All right, we dumped.
Did both of us dump? Okay, we got to build it back up. So, all right, guys on the phone, hold on a second. I'll handle it in here.
We got a double dump.
Yeah, so we just killed the dump. So we got to build it back up for a second. That gives us a chance to get to the UPS Jobs text line because, my God, I could probably read for the next 45 minutes.
I'm not going to even try with how many comments we have online because it's not even like it's crazy.
I cannot read all the texts. Trust me that we see them. It's just unfortunately they're coming in faster than we can read them. But I'm going to get to a few of them. Effing unreal. The Cal clan has no ammo anymore. You have to fire him or at least force resignation. And a thought that I had, I do think there's a way they can force him to resign and take less of a buyout.
How's that? You
strangle the NIL money. Because if he doesn't have the NIL money, he can't recruit the players that he's been getting. I think that's what it's going to come down to. They're going to they're going to tell him we're going to cut off your NIL money or you take $20 million and walk away.
I think though he would just take his $9 million a year and just sit there and take it until 2029.
It's going to be so untenable though. I mean, think about the situation with the media, which, by the way, somebody tweeted out earlier. Since that Auburn game where he got super chesty after the article, Kentucky didn't have a single game the rest of the season where they held their opponent under a point per possession. He got super chesty after that game. Oh, you media think you know it's yeah. Defense was awful the rest of the way.
Yeah, the media does think that
relationship is. I'm seeing media people on Twitter who never say bad things about Cal saying he's got to go. Like the Matt Jones was, of all people, was right on that line of saying everything he could shy of saying he has to go. And as you pointed out earlier, he has to toe that line because he has people to answer to. We don't.
We do not.
And that's why we're here. Texter says, we just lost to Eric Wolford, our O-line coach. Stoops did it on purpose. What?
I don't know what it.
I have no idea.
I guess that's what Eric Wolford. Eric Wolford looks like when he came here. Whatever.
Maybe Dallas Cowboy Wildcats all talk, no show. ACC. Texter.
By the way, has the SEC lost every single game they've played in the NCAA tournament so far?
Yes,
they haven't won it yet. What?
0-3. Texter explaining why Tubby got run out of town and not John Calipari, but that's some people's opinion, and I'm not going to go there.
Oh, well, and I actually agree with that opinion.
I'm not saying I disagree with it. I'm saying I don't want to get into it tonight.
I'm a Tubby dude, so I mean, but I like and by the way, can we real quick before we go on? If I hear another national commentator say that Cal's a defensive dude or that he's a defensive coach, that's who he is, I'm going to punch somebody in the face.
Barnhart declined an interview.
We're just getting word that Mitch Barnhart declined an interview.
Would you want to explain to people why you gave this man a lifetime contract?
Right.
A couple more texts and then we're going to get back.
Which was in 2019, by the way. And
you know
ever
what the
since.
buyout number is, don't you?
It's 34
million.
34 mil.
Yeah.
Texter says, wasted talent once again. Texter says, hey, the team isn't that good. SEC basketball is basically propped up by ESPN propaganda. The league's weak. The team was fake juice.
I don't know, man. I look at the SEC games and I felt like there was a different level of athleticism than, I think the ACC is terrible, but.
Texter said, first thing Sports Center posted on Facebook, it's the loss to St. Peter's and then this one. And he pointed out Kentucky has become the freaking laughing stock of America. Nobody's talking about U of L and Kenny Payne anymore. I mean, nationally.
We're back up to like 12.5 if you want to take calls.
This is now the story. A couple more texts here before we get back to the phone lines. Reed Shepherd wouldn't be a first-round pick in the 7th region. Texter said, how about them dogs? This team is built different. LMAO. Texter said, I'd love to get it on the phone, but it keeps hanging up. Something wrong. Our line's just jammed. We're full. So keep trying to call. As Mike said earlier, we will be here. If you're calling into 1,
if you have something to say, you will get on. We are not, we're not limiting this to an hour or whatever else might happen on other stations. This is not, you are going to have a voice.
And also, before we get back to the phone lines, as our guy James Strebel pointed out, now we know where KP learned to throw players under the bus.
Well, now we also know where KP learned how to coach defense. I mean, we've talked about this before. The frustrations that have happened on that side have been the same. It's the same frustrations. So it's just a different level of player. All right, let's go to the phone lines, man.
All right, we're gonna head back to the phones. Please, no cussing. Please. Samantha is up next on the UK postgame show. What's up?
Hey guys. First thing I want to say is it's going to be hard to get rid of him when he openly says, I'm not here to win championships. I'm here for the boys. I'm here to get them in the NBA. He's doing exactly what he said he was going to do. It's just not Kentucky basketball. The time is up for that. We need to get kids in here that want to be here, that want to play, and start winning championships.
I just want to hang that seven All-Star banner, 7 NBA All-Stars. I just want to hang that banner. So I'm with you, Samantha. It's disgusting.
Absolutely. He's got to go.
All right, thanks, Samantha. Appreciate it. Next caller.
502-267-9680. Next up is Dave. What's up?
Hey, y'all, I ain't gonna cuss. Don't worry about it. I just don't know what to say anymore. I'm at a total loss, but I did have an idea. What do you think if we went back to the mascot with the phallic tongue? That might turn it around.
Let's do it. Let's go with the penis tongue.
That man hung on hold for 15 minutes to say that.
I appreciate the comic relief, man. I do.
502-267-9680. William, you're up next.
Hello.
What's on your mind, William?
Yeah, okay, I'm on.
Yeah,
I got 3 questions to ask you. Why did he go to small ball anymore? You know, when he went to small ball against Kansas, they look awesome. Then these 3 guys come in.
BB and Billy.
Seemed like he misses Kenny Payne because it seemed like Kenny Payne got the big guys, ready and going. So how about if we get Kenny Payne back to do the big guys and see what happens? But he's got to change something because it seems like he don't know what he's doing. I mean, the small ball, it was playing off and the ball was moving and everything. And then the big guys came and it's like, here we got small ball again. And who do you think we should get replacing? And I'll hang
so let me first off, I always took it as Antigua was really the post coach behind it all. Although Antigua's back, and that has not helped. And I honestly, I remember vividly when Antigua left in 14, that 15 recruiting class was still pretty much his to take the South Florida job. That's when I knew we were at the beginning of the end, because I knew how hard, because that's when I was doing a lot of the recruiting stuff for the Derby Classic, and I knew how hard Antigua was working the backside of that. And I always took it like he was the big man coach, but for example, Kenny Payne wasn't there when we had DeMarcus Cousins and when we had all those other early big men when they really were having dominant big guys at Kentucky. And I'm with you, man. I mean, I think we hit that small ball comment at the beginning of the season really heavily because we talked about it. We talked about it with Oscar Tshiebwe last year. When you take a guard and reinsert him into a lineup, it doesn't really mess up flow. When you take a big man and now insert him into the lineup, I mean, it took the team completely off where when Trey Mitchell had to play the 5 early on, Trey Mitchell was basically playing a high post, stepping out behind the 3-point line, keeping teams honest, tons of just cut lanes and whatever else, and the ball moved, and it was fun to watch, and it was great. And then we bring in the bigs, and then sometimes we try to play with 2 bigs, and it just it's really hard to adapt. And I agree. And as far as who would be our next coach, I would love for them to just go to Jay Wright first, but I don't know if Jay Wright's coming back to coach basketball. It doesn't really seem like he wants to.
I don't think he wants to deal with NIL and all this other stuff.
And I got to be honest with you, like, there's nobody in college basketball that really excites me. And that's the hard part here because we've got John Vincent Calipari, and there's not a lot of guys out there. So I would honestly I hope they take a flyer on somebody, dude. I really do.
I want a coach that has a system.
Yep.
I want a coach that doesn't.
I want Golden. if I'm being honest, I want
a coach whose primary focus is winning games, not putting guys, because you know what happens when you win games? You put guys in the NBA.
Yeah. Well, not necessarily.
Marcus Teague became a first-round draft pick because he played really well. And
Yeah, but
won
that's
games.
not always the case. I mean, college basketball and the NBA are totally different.
But I'm saying if you're a good player,
yeah,
you will get to the NBA.
You will. You'll get discovered.
You don't have to be.
But there's lots of Zach Edey's out there too.
Yeah, you don't have to do all these different things. If you could just go out and play and you win games, you're going to get eyes on you. You're going to get attention. People are going to see you. You're going to get plenty of attention. If you're a first seed or a second seed, you're going 30-4, 31-3 on the season, not 10 wins and knocked out. Because you know what? You don't get eyes on you when you get knocked out on Thursday night.
Yeah.
I don't know who we hire. That's not what I get paid for.
Right.
That's not what you get paid for. That's what Mitch freaking Brain Fart gets paid for. And he's given the guy a lifetime contract with no incentive to win. You handed him a blank check because he flirted and batted his eyes at UCLA. You should have let him.
Yeah.
You should have let him. If he wanted to flirt,
let him flirt.
Let him. The man told you when he took the damn job, 10 years is about as long as you can have
And
a
that's
job
what we
like
got.
this.
We got 10 years. It's been after that. It's been bad.
And since that 10-year mark, what have we not done?
It's been bad.
Won a tournament game.
Yeah.
Just got into the second round. We won a tournament game.
Hire Gary Payton is what we're getting. Okay.
Back to the phone lines because we've got a full bank of calls. Randy is up next.
Randy. I hope you get that,
How you
Aziz.
doing, guys?
I'm good, Randy. You get that reference?
No, man. But it sounded good.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. And Z Ansari does this whole comedy bit about Randy, and so you should look it up sometime. So, yeah.
I hear Randy and I think of Archer.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Go for it,
What's
man.
up, Randy?
All right. Excuse me. So, last time I called in was when we lost to the Peacocks,
Yep.
and I thought it couldn't get lower than that. And now, we rebound and have a couple of good years. And now I'm sitting here with my wife, Svetlana, and we're watching this go on. And all I can think is we are stuck. We ain't got nothing. We got a $33 billion buyout. What in the hell are we going to do?
I think they pay it.
We got who you going to get to pay it?
Well, no, there's money. Listen,
Sanders, the ghost of Colonel Sanders?
there's money out there if
Call
they
the
want
Kraft
that.
family.
They can get
We
it.
can start with them.
They can get the 30. They can get the money. And at the end of the day, there is one name that popped up on the popped up for who I'd want, and it is the guy I'd want. Dan Hurley. So I mean, he coaches the way that I would want.
You make him
to
say
coach.
no.
I'll take Dan Marley at this point.
That's some good old times right there.
He can shoot a three better than the Great White Nope.
He could shoot the three. Oh wow, Reed had a tough game tonight, man, but he gave us a hell of a season. He had a rough one.
He did good, but all I know is we're stuck because ain't nobody gonna pay that buyout. Y'all find somebody. You call the governor, you call Matt Bevin, you call somebody. Ain't nobody paying that. And until then, I don't know what we're gonna do, guys. So I'll shut up and listen, and y'all just keep on keeping on.
We'll keep up, man.
Really
and again, we're getting another person saying it's a good idea to hire Cal as the director of basketball operations. Again, let him be the grandpa, man. Let him all be the recruit, do it all, and just hire someone else to be the coach, the head coach.
Let him do TJ Meisner's old job.
By the way, we can still call Cal the head coach, and just like really actually have someone on this. Maybe Cal sits, even though he's the head coach, and we have someone else stand up and actually run timeouts and do all that stuff.
Let him sit on the sideline like Joe B did.
Yeah, sure.
502-267-9680. Our guy BBN Billy, you're up next.
You guys there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Well, I go all the way back to the Wisconsin game. Everybody keeps talking about this talent be coming in year after year. I tell everybody, call me when he gets more talent than he had on that team. That right there showed you nobody wanted to see that. Two best players didn't play that game. Devin Booker and Tyler Ulis. Calipari always says, don't blame the players. We haven't blamed the players, punk.
Nope.
It's not it wasn't Devin Booker's fault. He was down there eating popcorn while the game was going on. The best shooter, one of the best shooters in the NBA. This guy, first thing I don't like him, he's a Democrat. He's a liberal punk. We got to get this clown out of here. It's embarrassing. And another thing, we haven't taken advantage of Louisville's, and I hate Louisville. I'll pull the Taliban over Louisville. I hate them. So we haven't taken advantage of their bad luck. All of these years, we have done nothing. Our misery is just as bad as theirs, or worse.
Well, I'll say this, BB and Billy. I actually think that we need Louisville to be good to push Kentucky to be great.
Well, we ain't gonna be great with this clown.
Nope, I agree, man.
Getting a coach. We need to hire a coach, and this guy's not a coach. He's embarrassing. I guess if we had about 10,000 people, and I'd be one of them, we'll drive up to Rep Arena tomorrow, take all our UK license plates off, and make a walkway out of Rep Arena, and tell Calipari to walk down that walk and get the hell out of this town. We don't need you to little liberal punk. That's what you are. You took the knee, you little bending knee, little punk.
All right, we got it.
That's enough.
We got the same thing. We have a liberal punk and probably in the studio right now.
Not to mention the fact it has nothing to do. If he won a national title, you wouldn't care. So,
by the way, we're over 5,000 people now streaming live, actively streaming live,
and it's 10:35.
It's 10:35. We're here for it all. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel yet, please subscribe to that YouTube channel. It really helps us out a ton. The ESPN Louisville Plus.
I have a feeling we might need to have some content on there tomorrow evening, seeing as Strebel's out, and
we can do it. You and I can.
Might need to do something tomorrow night.
Sure.
Real quick before we get back to the phones, our guy Patty Ice, again, appreciate it. Missed the dude. He was awesome. He makes a great point. He said, "This who are you going to get to pay it nonsense needs to stop. Are you UK or not? Texas A&M isn't Auburn or Alabama, and they said bleep this. We'll pay the $70 million to get rid of somebody."
I mean, let's understand. Like down the road, that school is paying so many buyouts right now that's why.
You mean across the street?
Across the street, yeah. It's some where we are right now. They're paying so many buyouts, and that's why the buyout for Kenny Payne became a little bit of an issue. But at the end of the day, though, it's an economic. Like for example, I'm going to go back to Billy Gillespie. Kentucky paid Billy Gillespie's buyout, but you almost were forced to because the guy was costing you money. He wasn't fundraising. He wasn't doing all the stuff that you need them to do. And to Cal's credit, he comes in, he enchants the fan base, he gets recruits in. Cal at the very beginning could walk into a room and raise $1 million.
But it's now
and he could pay for himself.
It's now a toxic cesspool.
He ain't paying for himself anymore.
No.
Like you can go and look at the early days of John Calipari and say, you know what? Were we getting $7 million worth of value out of the guy? Absolutely. Even if he didn't win the national championship, you were getting $7 million worth of value out of him. You're not getting the $9 million of value out of him anymore.
And you're going to lose season tickets.
And I'm just talking business, right? I mean, that's just what it is.
UK games that used to be impossible to get in. People would camp out for Big Blue Madness tickets because it was the only chance they'd get to see UK play. It's not the case anymore. You're going to lose season ticket sales. You're going to lose ad revenue. You're going to lose donors donating. Who wants to donate to this?
No.
What are you donating for?
Right.
We got the best recruiting class in the country, and we couldn't win a game. What do you need more money for, Cal? What are you going to do next year that you didn't have the money for this year?
We are not. Listen, I'm calling it. Banner year in Kentucky basketball next year. I think 8 NBA All-Stars and a Rookie of the Year. That's what I'm calling.
We need
5 draft picks.
We need that extra $15 million in NIL.
Let's go, baby.
I promise you, we'll get to the Sweet 16 this time.
No, not this. No, we're not going to the Sweet 16. We're not going to the high school tournament. We're losing the first round again. But I mean, if we have 8, could you imagine 8 All-Stars? How awesome would that be for Kentucky basketball?
Cal's goal is to have 2 All-Stars on every NBA team.
I'm just so supportive of the kids.
Look at you being positive.
Let's go bowling.
Mike,
Let's go bowling.
502-267-9680. We're going to head back to the phones and bring Richard in. What's going on?
Hey guys, it's Richard Girth. Just leaving the game.
Oh, you were there?
I'm sorry. What was your name?
Richard Girth.
I've never heard that one before.
Go
Go on, UK fan Richard. What's up?
Girth.
Yeah. Anyway.
Just call you RG for short.
RG Junior. Yeah. So, I mean, the atmosphere, like everybody was so freaking nervous. Left with 4 minutes to go because I'm like, I can't do this. This is, I mean, I had the same feeling I guess everybody at home had watching on TV. And I mean, thank God for the seniors, right? Like, what would we have done without them?
Yeah, Trey
And
Mitchell with
then-
14 and Reeves with 27. So right there.
And then apparently, I'm driving and reading Twitter, which is not good. But apparently, Cal just said something about.
He threw them all under the bus.
Yeah, but he
Oh yeah, I've got the quote here.
What's it say?
Yeah,
I'll read it because I'd rather you not read and drive. John, this is from Jonathan Giavoni. He said, Cal said, quote, I hate it for these guys that people try to define this season by that game. It's how this business works. I've lost tough games before. I've been through everything. This is one that's like, man, hey, Cal, that's why they hold a tournament.
And can I just say,
That's literally how they define the damn season. They have a tournament.
nobody here though at the same time is upset because of one game, right? We're not
This is the same guy that said we're built for March.
right.
Oh, but March doesn't matter.
He also
don't judge them by that one game or the one game before where they lost in a tournament set.
He's also said plenty of times too that, you know, for us to be positive and be all about the kids and all this other kind of stuff. And then, you know, the old Cal would say Kentucky's not for everybody. You got to be built different.
Yeah, so he's acknowledged tonight, right, that he needs to get older players. There's a quote about that, and so when you look at next year's recruiting class, right, we're going to be ushering all these new guys again. We're going to be
good players.
The freshmen have to be worse than our freshmen this year, and it's like I hate thinking about next year right now, but it's like how can next year be any better than this year? I mean, unless I don't know, unless he's kicking guys off and he starts, goes out and starts buying some older guys. I don't know, like I just don't know how this gets better.
Number 2 recruiting class in the country. 2 centers, 2 point guards, a small forward, and a shooting guard. Now, here's what I will tell you this, and this is for everybody out there because this is real. And we can talk about how the talent and all that stuff that they've had on this team and whatever else. And this is probably the best shooting team Cal's ever had, no doubt about it. Going into this season, this recruiting class was looked like more like the Nerlens Noel year than it was looked like the Karl Anthony Towns recruiting class year. I'm talking about the recruiting class as a whole. This was not considered to be a great crop of talent in the recruiting world. And so are you going to get mad at me?
No, I'm reading something else Cal said.
All right, can you hold it? Or
yeah.
Okay.
That's getting hard.
I'm just telling you all didn't see Ence's faces like about to just blow up right now. But so next year's crop of talent is supposed to be pretty special. And they do have the same best recruiting class. Now, the thing that's going to struggle is you got to go find those shooters because I thought that's one of the things that made this team extremely special was just the level of the shooting ability that we had. So, we'll see. I mean, and then
that's my point. There is no Reed Shepherd or
Travis Perry. Could it be Travis Perry?
Next year's class. I wouldn't put that pressure on his shoulders. I mean,
people would have said the same thing about Reed last year too. Like, although Reed ended up being a McDonald's All-American.
Yeah.
Calipari's had something about it's changed on us. All of a sudden, it's gotten old.
Whatever. I mean, I hope the best for Travis Perry, but I'm not like thinking he's the next Reed Shepherd. He's going to step right in and do. I mean, I don't think that's fair, and it's just unlikely.
Sure, it is. It is. But I'll tell you what. There's something about having those Kentucky kids on that team too that when they get the chance to play, they usually rise up to the occasion. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I appreciate you calling. Thanks, RG.
Real quick before
all
we
right,
get back
go
to
ahead.
the phones.
This is you're going to blow up.
Quote from our head coach who makes $9 million.
How much?
$9 million.
$9 million.
Quote: our players were anxious. We missed a dunk, missed a layup, missed another play, and it became anyone's ball game. You have to ask them. I tried to push buttons to get the right combinations out there, but they're freshmen.
It's also a little too late, man. This is.
Have to ask them. This man said you have to ask them why we lost.
At the end of the day, when people get mad at me when I'm critical, even after a win, I always back that up and said it's because I want certain things to happen in March. I want certain things to happen when we get to the tournament. Every game is a scrimmage, basically, until you get to postseason play. And so now you're in post, and so we're trying to get things fixed and whatever else. This is a issue. Like if he thinks that it just was something that just happened tonight and doesn't see how the whole season progressed, that's a big freaking problem.
But Mike, every time we tried to bring those things up, we were told,
I should be happy to win.
Why can't you just be happy about the win?
Yeah.
How dare you criticize Reed?
You want
He's
another
the only
good Cal
reason.
quote?
He's the only reason we were in this game tonight.
Let's get the next Cal quote.
He said, "It's changed on us. All of a sudden, it's gotten really old. Our average age is 18, and we're playing teams whose average age is 24 or 25.
Oh, my God.
You also got guys who are going to be playing in the NBA next year. You're going to be playing against guys that are going to be a lot older.
And these guys are going to be bankers next year.
Exactly.
That dude's going to be, as you said earlier, he's going to be a shift manager at the Ford truck plant.
Yeah.
502-267-9680. We still have full bank of calls. And again, we will be here as long as you guys want to keep calling. Antonio, you are up next. What's on your mind?
We're approaching 5,500 people online, by the way. I would not want Shock and Smart. I'm seeing that right now.
Antonio, what's up? You there?
Hey, how you fellas doing tonight? I got a unique perspective on it. I'm a diehard U of L fan. I spent 20 years. I grew up in Louisville. Spent 20 years in Greensboro, North Carolina. Actually working at the Coliseum in Greensboro.
All right. You've seen some hoops.
Yeah, I worked at the Young Center during the Chris Mack era as well. I'm back in Louisville now, but I used to argue with those guys about this area, and I still feel that way. This is the mecca of college basketball, especially the fans. The fans in this area make it the mecca of college basketball, but we've been watching some mediocre basketball, Indiana, Kentucky, and Louisville. And all I just wanted to say to all the fan bases in this area, we do deserve better. You know,
all three schools.
Yeah, all three schools, all three. And we've been proactive on it, but, you know, God, waking up tomorrow morning, I'm going to be glad that we're actually looking for a coach and trying to fix our issues. But we deserve better. As fan bases, y'all deserve better. Indiana deserves better. This is still a mecca of college basketball as far as the fans, but the basketball around here is terrible.
Right now it is.
I'll hang up.
I appreciate that, man. We had a rational. That was a rational call right there. You didn't want to hear when he said Louisville fan for 20 years, and he was really rational.
No,
and he was right. Unless you were shaking off what you were reading on your screen.
No, I was shaking off something that Zach was showing me.
Okay.
There's a UK fan who's absolutely unhinged who's making January 6 comments. We don't need
that.
So.
No.
502-267-9680. Again, when someone drops off, you can jump in. Ian, you are up next. Thank you for holding. What's up?
Hello?
Yes, you're on.
Hey, sorry. Hey, this is Ian Moxon. Born and raised Louisville, Kentucky. Diehard Cats fan. Love the show, guys. I just got
Thanks,
a few
Ian.
things to say here, man. So, yeah, I think we're all frustrated, really, just mad about the whole situation. I think of the game versus Tennessee, played great. Last game of the season. Going in the SEC tournament, lose to Texas A&M. And then all those comments are saying, this team's built for March. This team is built for March. Showed up very out-coached. No doubt in my mind.
Oh, he was way out coached tonight.
I'm telling you what, I just can't stand it. I've heard a few people on here. We are a best program in the nation. We win national championships. I don't give a rat's butt about no NBA players in the NBA anymore. I'm a Kentucky fan, want to see him in the rafters. And I'm going to tell you what right now. If Rich Bernhardt doesn't fire him on Monday, he has no balls. I'm being serious. But, guys, thank you for letting me talk, but y'all are awesome.
I appreciate the call, and and hopefully you realize every single time I say that I'm being as sarcastic as I possibly can. I try to put the ass in sarcasm. So,
no, we do appreciate the call. Don't listen.
Yeah.
502. Look, without you guys, we don't.
Cal was out coached every game except even the wins.
Yeah. Without you guys, we don't have a show, and that's why we do this. These kinds of shows suck. We did the one after St. Peter's, and we were here. I'll never forget. Streeble's like, we're doing 45 minutes, and then we're out of here because I got school in the morning, and we were here till almost 1 a.m.
Yeah.
And this is why we do this show. It's the fan show. It's for you guys. Up next, Tyler, you are on the UK basketball postgame show. Tyler, go ahead.
Hello.
Tyler, you okay, man?
Can you hear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got
Yes,
you.
sir.
All right. Well, this is my first time listening to y'all's show, so I want to say that, considering the circumstances, I do like what you guys are putting on.
Appreciate that, man.
I'll be listening in the future. Just a couple things. I grew up in Kentucky. Die-hard Cats fan. I fell in love in '96. I was about 6 years old, and then really I grew up during the Tubby years.
Yep.
And really loved him, and big fan of Tubby, still am. Didn't like the way he got ran out, but I was young at the time. I didn't understand a lot. So let's fast forward it to a little bit here. Cal signs the lifetime contract in 19.
Yep.
2020, the COVID year, what I like to call the what if year. What if we lost the first round in that one too? Who would really be surprised at this point? But anyway, 2021, we lost the first game in the SEC tournament. Didn't make the big one.
Well, not only that, but what they were 9-16 that year.
Terrible. 22, lost the second game in the SEC tournament. First round in the big dance. St. Peter's, yeah.
Yeah, that was the St. Peter's game.
Lost the first game in the SEC tournament. Second round to K-State last year.
Yep.
And then this year, first game, SEC tournament, first round. All right. So there's 5 years right there. A lot of coaches,
61% winning percentage in those 5 years is what you're looking at.
Okay.
Terrible.
Right.
Terrible.
I mean, you're at the mecca of college basketball, and this is your 5-year resume.
And you're
right
barely over 500 with no second weekends in the tournament.
Terrible.
No
And
SEC championships.
I have never been one to, say, let's fire Cal. I have had some heated arguments over keeping the man here because who are we going to replace him with? And I think my reservation is there because of being afraid of another Gillespie era. I think that's the only thing that's really kept me.
Well, Tyler, let me give you an older man's wisdom. Okay.
Go ahead.
So we had this guy named Adolph Rupp. And when you really think about it, Adolph Rupp was fantastic, obviously. And then he was replaced by a guy named Joby Hall, who won one title. And the fans never really appreciated what Joby Hall was because he wasn't Adolph Rupp. So then they got rid of Joby Hall and they hired a guy named Eddie Sutton who puts us on probation and puts the program in the dump. So then what do we have to do? Right. We got to go find the savior, Rick Pitino, who's very similar to Adolph Rupp. And then Rick Pitino leaves and they had to go hire the next Joby Hall. His name just happened to be Tubby Smith, who was a great coach, but he just wasn't Rick Pitino. And he won a title and wasn't good enough. So then what do they do after that? They go hire Billy Gillespie, who runs the team in the program.
Hired him because he beat U of L.
He did. Beat U of L. He did. They put him in the toilet. This is the rotation. John Calipari can be compared to that Pitino Rupp because he brought it to a certain level. Whoever we're going to hire next, I'm going to tell you right now, it's probably not going to be the dude. It's probably going to be the dude before the dude.
But I would disagree with that only on the fact. I would disagree with that only on the fact that I think Cal could be both at this point.
He is. He probably is.
Cal,
that's why I'm thinking the next
was
dude.
the dude, and now he is completely
He became Tubby
into the ground.
Yeah, and now he could become.
No, he's become Gillespie.
Do you think he's become Gillespie?
You lose to 2 double-digit seeds.
Yeah.
In 3 years. Okay. No, you're Gillespie at this point.
Now they just got to go find who the next savior is. Then.
So if he gets out now, then it's still salvageable, right, for what he's done.
Yeah, I think we're still Kentucky, man. This is still.
He's got to walk away.
He's got to walk away. You're right.
He's got to walk away. And here's another thing I want to touch on. I listened to that little interview he did after the game, and one thing that stuck out to me on there was, well, 2 things. First thing is obviously him putting it on the players. Take some freaking ownership for once, and that's all I'm going to say on that. 2, the whole, I hate that we lost this game and that's how this season is going to be remembered. No, Cal, it ain't. I still clearly remember getting waxed by South Carolina. Mm-hmm. Your first college you went to, UNC Wilmington, on our home court. Mm-hmm. The only time we've lost 3 straight games at Rupp, I remember that shit too, Cal.
Oh, we gotta go. All right, we were so he was doing so good, man. I
appreciate the call.
We cannot cuss, and we also understand that maybe the libation level might be increasing as the night moves on, but we got to keep it in check. Okay.
All right. Next, that opens up a phone line 502-267-9680. We're going to start getting through calls a bit quicker here if we can too. Dylan, you've been waiting patiently. We appreciate it. What is on your mind?
Guys, thanks for taking my call. And I'm going to, long-time listener daily. I don't call in much, but I'm going to say something that might hurt some feelings a little bit, but I just feel like it needs to be said. In that, do we know on average how many people watched March Madness last year across the country?
We know we're the number one college basketball. We're the number one market for it. I know that, but I don't know how many people actually watch it. I don't know that.
10 million people watch
Yeah.
it on average. How many people watch the college football playoffs?
Oh, it's way more than that.
Triple, almost quadruple that.
Yeah.
That number. And so, I mean, I guess where I get frustrated sometimes, and I'm a long time, Kentucky basketball fan, it hurts me. And I drove all the way to Houston in that Final Four. I drove and I watched us cut down the nets in the Superdome, and I drove up to Indianapolis, and it's just turned into this thing where it's one and done. It's one and done. It's all about the getting guys to the NBA. Why not? I would just love to see what the football program could do with $15 million NIL, with all the booster support. I go back and think of, and I know most of the history, but had we looked to Bear Bryant rather than Adolph Rupp, honestly, guys, college basketball, it seemed like there was a gleam of hope for the sport, toward the end of the 2000s, the early 2000s. It's just, I just struggle with where we are and what it's become. It's, BB and Billy or whoever that was, who was dogging Cal for being a Democrat or what. Honestly, basketball is more of a flashy sport, but there's a lot of grind and tenacity and appreciation for college athletics, I think, in the college football arena that I wish that this state would get behind more sometimes, because I finally decided to sink my heart into a team again, and here we are again, just bounced out, and they're all going to go away. Where does Cal come in and say, you know what, I'm going to put all my effort, all my energy to get these guys the money to stick around. And we love this team. We love this state. We want to win a title. And instead of, 4 weeks ago, he's talking about just get ready to say goodbye to these guys.
Yep.
Never see them again.
How long you been a Kentucky fan?
Oh man, I don't know, 35, as long as I can remember.
So, and you bring up some interesting points, and I don't want to just sweep it under the rug about football versus basketball. And I specifically even think about the way that's changed the way that recruiting's occurred, and the way that even the basketball talent in the state has. And I honestly, I go back to when Kentucky and Louisville decided to start playing regularly in football. This is kind of to your point. We ended up having a lot more kids who normally would have been superior basketball talent, like the superior basketball talent that we had in the 80s, kind of in early 90s, like probably up to maybe Jason Osborne, when he was at Mayo and went to U of L. It really kind of tailed off after that because of the UK U of L football game, and football became much more. It just became more accessible. It was more in the face. It just did. It just changed things. You got even a guy like Tim Couch. Does he choose playing basketball over football at one point? Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. I don't know. But like the Winston Bennett's, the Dwayne Morton's, whether they played at Allen Houston's, we had some runs where we had some basketball talent that when football became more prevalent, it kind of tailed that away. And so I look at what you just mentioned and just as a bigger issue. And I don't think college basketball is necessarily any less popular today than it was. I still think this tournament's the greatest sporting event out there, even though, but I do think college football has exploded in popularity at the same time. And I do think it's still, even if they threw the money, the resources from the basketball program into the football program, I still think it'd be really hard for the football program to get over the hump. But I appreciate the call tonight, man, and we're gonna move on. Was that a good, well thought out answer at least?
Yeah.
All right, thanks. Sorry. Yeah.
502-267-9680. By the way, Text line again. We've got calls coming in left and right. We will get to the text. I know there's a ton of them in here. We will get to them. It'll just be later in the show. Mark, thank you so much for patiently waiting. You are up next. What's up?
I'm just going to put you in my mind a little bit.
Yes, sir.
About 4 or 5 years before Tubby left, I was asking some of my best UK friends, can Tubby win another title? I did the same thing about 2 or 3 years ago with Cal. And the reason I asked them that is because I did not believe that they could. And I started doubting Cal 2 or 3 years ago. And I'm pretty cut and dry. The way I think is, if he can't win a title, what are we doing? So I ask you guys, do you think Cal can win another title?
Nope.
I've been thinking he can't for about 2 or 3 years. And so if he can't, what are we doing?
You make too much sense.
Right.
You got a backer and a fan, and I totally 100% agree. Like, we're not dating just to date. We're dating to try to see if we can get married, right? If we can get to the big ceremony at the end. That's what we want to do. And I'm with you, man. I'm totally with you.
Yeah, I mean, everybody knew we could lose tonight. Everybody knew it. If you were put on a lie detector test, whatever that is, everybody. I mean, I knew we could lose tonight. I knew it, and we did. I mean, I just don't have any faith.
You know what's even worse about knowing that we could lose is we almost all, like Jason and I were talking about, we could almost tell you exactly how we were going to lose and the way it was going to unfold. So if we could actually predict like that, like say that this kid was going to go off from 3-point range and whatever else, and if we could actually predict that, how can Cal turn around and then say it was the player's fault when we've watched a product over 15 years and say, okay, there's a chance we could lose tonight, and this is how it's going to happen because we've seen this before. It ain't the players.
The stale start to each half is so stupid too. I mean, it's just like, why? I mean, at the beginning of the game, what did Oakland? They went like 1 for 7 or 1 for 8. Actually, I think they were 0 for 7. We could have jumped out to a 10 or 12-point lead if we just came out aggressive and just played like we should play.
Yeah, but you know what happened though? I mean, you had a situation where their coach put us in a different situation offensively. He pushed our offense back just a little bit, made us uncomfortable on the 3-point line, and we cowered. And that set he didn't care that they were down 1 at that first under 4 timeout, that it was 3-4. He cared about what he was starting to inch us to do and the seeds of doubt that I'm talking about Campy. And it was exactly what he wanted to have happen. So
yeah. Hey guys, I appreciate you guys letting me talk. And I mean, does anybody think we can win another title with Cal? I have not for 2 or 3 years.
I don't. I agree. Campy is a great coach. So we're getting that. We're getting our boy Marcus, who's been on here a long time ago.
Appreciate the call, by the way, Mark.
One Seton Hall's coach at Louisville or Kentucky. The guy who was at St. Peter's. He's not leaving Seton Hall though because he's a grad there, right?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he played there.
Real quick, it is 11 o'clock.
57.
We'll reset everything. This is the Kentucky Fish and Wildlife UK basketball postgame show. I'm Jason Ence. That's Big Mike Gandolfo. Zachy C.
Zach, just say hi so you can get on the air a little bit. Oh, he's on the phone.
Zach's constantly on the phones. He's working hard behind the glass. Again, we will be here as long as you guys want to continue to call in. 502-267-9680 is the phone number. 437-9680 is the UPS Jobs text line. We're going to head back to the phone lines here. Joe is up next on the UK or the Kentucky Fish and Wildlife UK basketball postgame show. What is on your mind?
Hey guys, thanks for having me on. I'm a U of L fan, and I'm not a rabid fan. I obviously don't like Kentucky, but I tend to be more into the analysis. Even though I listen to Strebel in the afternoon, he's good. but you can blame it all on him. The karma when he dogged U of L. I think he's the one that's at fault tonight. But anyway, I'm just joking. I got 3 comments. One is I think his reliance on one and dones is terribly, terribly misguided. I think he should have gotten out of this years ago. Jay Wright, Bill Self, Roy Williams, they've all won multiple titles in the last 10, 15 years. They never embraced that philosophy to the extent that Cal has. So he should have been learning sometime 3 to 4 or 5 years ago that freshmen tend to disappear in big games. And if somebody like Antonio Reeves, I watched the last half of the second half, and he should have handled the ball every offensive possession in some form or fashion. And the focus shouldn't have been on Reed and Dillingham so much. I know that's the way they played all year, but he's the rock. And I think even though he had a great game, it's not his fault, it's Cal's fault. He has to be the leader. He's the guy that has to calm the younger ones down. And I think they would have had more success tonight if that had happened. I think the most telling aspect of Cal's career as a coach is he has no coaching tree. And so that to me tells me that all of his assistants that have gone on and to other places have all failed. So that tells me that they never learned proper X's and O's and in-game adjustments. So I think
he's got a failed coaching tree is what he has. I mean,
he does.
And they're all back on his staff.
It really does. And so it's just not a good look. And I'll tell you, and one last thing, because you all played some of those clips before I get off. If that was U of L's coach and he said what he said after this game, you got to ask them. That to me.
By the way, U of L's coach did say that. Those
things. That you don't say it as a coach.
Right.
As a coach, you take the bullets for those kids.
Yep.
You don't ever, ever, ever say that after a game. You just don't. So
100%. Your fault. It's your fault when they lose, and it's their success when they win.
I think that he's charismatic. He's all those great things, but you can stay in a job too long, and I think he has.
He needs to go to Louisville. We're on the same page. All right. Hey man, that's a good.
Here's the thing. If he went to Louisville, he would probably have some success right away, just because the charisma and all that is what Louisville is lacking right now.
Yep.
And they would have some success.
Yeah.
Now, as time went on, if he stayed, then the X's and O's becomes the problem.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
All right, bud. We have got rational Louisville fans calling tonight. Listen, I mean, we gotta like.
Well, I mean, to be fair, you look at they're taking joy in this, but they also have to keep in their back of their mind,
their situation.
The bullets in their chamber are a little limited right now.
I understand.
502-267-9680. Again, when somebody hangs up, you can jump in. Next up, Gary, you have been waiting patiently. We appreciate it.
My man, Gary. Gary, it's taking you this long to get in tonight, huh? Gary, you there?
Did Gary fall asleep on us?
Gary
going once?
Gary's on like every call show, man.
Gary waited so long to get through. Gary going twice?
We might.
All right, Gary, call back if you're still awake. 502-267-9680. David, you are up next on the Kentucky Fish and Wildlife UK Basketball Postgame Show. What's up?
I think I heard you come to me, but I didn't hear the name. This is David.
What's up, David?
What's up, David?
I'm in Little Rock, Arkansas. First-time caller. Just discovered you guys not long ago, just a couple of weeks ago, and I enjoy, your candor and my attitude kind of skews a little bit more toward what I hear on your show. So I appreciate all of that.
Thanks, man.
Some thoughts. A long time UK fan, probably doubling in the number of years any of you guys, because I go back to when I was a kid in the early 60s. I mean, I remember the last 10 years of Rupp. And so I've got that perspective. I think that
Thank you for making me not the old man, because I constantly feel like the old man. So
you could be my son. Honestly.
I'm sure I can. It sounds like I could, but not barely, just barely. Right.
But so a lot of the things that Cal says irk me as much as any. I mean, all of us long timers, old timers. It irks us because the history of the program goes back to the mid 30s, and we appreciate the history, before our lives as much as we appreciate what we can remember. And for me, I can remember a whole lot and a whole lot of success. And I can remember not going more than a few years without Final Fours, et cetera, et cetera. But tonight may be the most galvanizing moment to unite Kentucky fans. Ironically, since the championship of 2012, or maybe going into the Final Four in 2015 to 38-0. We are united more by this loss, united by a negative event more by this loss probably than any other thing, because it's universal. Everybody has the same opinion. There aren't any Pollyannas out there anymore. It's obvious what we're seeing, and this is not acceptable. The other thing I'd say is this was going to be, another thing that makes it so frustrating is we've waited and waited for this year, for more than a year and a half since DJ signed and Justin signed. This class was put together, and we've been hearing about DJ and Reed, of course, for years before that. And so building up to this year, anticipating this year, and it all came together in the recruiting class. Now Cal's got all the pieces he needs.
But everybody was healthy going into the tournament. There's no excuses.
Yeah, this was the year. We waited for this. We could tolerate the results. Well, I don't know that I tolerated it all that well, but still we were pointing to this year. This was going to be the year. And that's what makes it even more frustrating and even more unacceptable, because this was the best roster, guys, that we've had. In my opinion, this was the best roster we've had since 2015. This was the most complete roster we've had in terms of individual talent since 2015. Now, when you look at a basketball team, it's hard to see where individual talent stops and coaching starts, because it all blends together. When a team is unprepared, then they look like they're not any good. But in looking at these guys, I think this is the best roster we've had in terms of individual talent. My point is, he's never going to have a better chance than this. He's never going to have the tools he needs. He's forgotten how to do it. And what are we going to do about this situation?
It's bad. You got to pay him. Got to show him the door. He's not going to leave on his own.
I don't have that. No. I can't help with even 1,000th of the money that it's going to take to pay. So where are we going to come up with that in this state or in your? I don't live there anymore, but
there's
it's
plenty. There's there's plenty of money there for that to happen.
I hope it does.
Yeah. If it needs to happen, it's there.
Mitch is going to feel some heat now, don't you think, in the next few days?
He's got to. Yeah. So we're going to move on to the next caller. I appreciate you calling. So. Make sure you hit us next year too, okay?
I will. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you, David. Appreciate it. 502-267-9680. That opens up a phone line so you can jump in on the conversation.
You're doing a great job on those phone lines, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Let's go.
Yeah, Brian, you are on next on the UK Postgame Show. What's up?
I want to hear what Brian's girlfriend's got to think about this.
What's up, boys?
Brian?
Not much.
How you doing, man?
Dude, I'm so at a loss for words. It's so draining watching this crap anymore. Here we sit, and I know I'm not the prognosticator of prognosticators, but I think I called in a few weeks ago and I said something to the effect of, we're going to be sitting here some point in March when it's over, and we're going to just be crying in our beer about the wasted talent, the wasted roster, the wasted opportunity. And even when I said that, when I called in, this is how screwed up UK basketball gets you in the head. I'm praying to myself that I'm wrong. I'm saying it, but I'm hoping I'm wrong. And I'm like, man, maybe, and I'm a pessimist by nature, guys. I'll admit it. I'm like, man, maybe I can do a little reverse psychology and I can predict doom and gloom and it'll be better. And of course it's not. And here we sit, and I may mess the quote up. I don't know, man, but here it is. You live, you either die the hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And Calipari has become the villain to UK basketball. And it's a shame because he did such great things when we brought him in. I remember after the 2012 championship, I wasn't even living in Kentucky at the time. I was living in Arkansas, but I came in for it for the Final Four. I was staying with a buddy of mine, and we won the championship that night, and I did all the appropriate partying and whatever, and I got back, and I was getting ready to go to bed that night at my buddy's house, and I thought, man, this is what we've all wanted since Pitino. This is what we've all been waiting for. It's going to be easy. And, of course, it's not. That was naive. But I was like, this guy's 3 years in. We could have won it his second year. We should have won it the first year, but we won it the third year. I'm like, this is going to be great. This is going to be great. And it was for a long time. But we
for 3 more years.
Right. We've obviously we've passed that time, and there is nothing. I mean, you guys know this because you're sports fans, and I'm not even talking about just basketball. But we've all in our lifetime watched great players or great coaches have their heyday, right? And you think, man, that's as good as it gets. But they just hang on, and they just hang on, and they just hang on to the point where they absolutely ruin their legacy. He said it himself.
Jim Boeheim. You're right.
Calipari said it himself, and everybody's called this show or talked to the show at any one point and said the same thing. He said it himself in the introductory press conference. It's a 10-year job. Do the math. 09 to 19. I get it. 2020 was canceled for COVID. He was right. That's the only thing that he's ever said that made any friggin' sense. He said, this is a 10-year job. Well, guess what? Add it up since 19. There's your math right there. And his ego has grown to an extent because of the money he was given, the contract he's given. His ego has grown and blown up so much. He cannot see he is the common denominator. He's the only one. How can your mind get so corrupted by power? And, he doesn't answer to anybody. I got a lifetime contract. Stick it up your butt. You're the one that gave me this contract. I'm going to do what the hell I want to do. And we're held hostage by this narcissist.
Yeah, we are, man.
He cannot understand it's time to let go of the rope. If he can't do it, I don't want to hear about numbers, man. I don't want to hear it. This is UK basketball. There's 4 million people in this state. Start a GoFundMe. I don't care how you do it.
We'd raise the money tonight.
I'll pitch in $10.
We'd raise the money tonight. We would raise the money tonight.
Let me tell you something, man. I'm your average Kentucky dude. I will pour what I got into it, man. Get him out of here. And here's the sad part, guys. That's all tongue in cheek. Here's the sad part. John Calipari should go home tonight or whenever he gets back to his house. And I hope there's 1,000.
He may not want to go to his house tonight.
No,
people have put his address on Twitter.
Well, his house, and it's not hard to find.
Like a lot of people.
I know, but it's not hard to find his house. He's on a busy street.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's pretty easy to find his house.
I said that to my girlfriend earlier, and she's like, you shouldn't say that. That's mean. So I'm going to tell you something. If I
do not go to Cal's house. We're not advocating for people to go to Cal's house.
I live in Louisville, and I digested enough bourbon during this game tonight. Let me tell you something. I lived in Lexington. I'd probably be arrested tonight without question. And I'm not. Listen, I'm not.
Aaron's Miss Calipari's a nice lady.
Didn't they do that to Tubby? Didn't they do that to Tubby?
Yeah, they did. No, they did because they lived in my uncle's. He lived on my uncle's street, and so he was just down the street from where my uncle lived, and that kind of stuff happened to Tubby. But hey, man, we appreciate your support all season long, Brian. We're looking forward to next year. We got to move on though.
All right, buddy.
See you, bud.
Thanks, Brian. 502-267-9680. Real quick before we get back to the calls, Dan Wolken, USA Today, has written a
scathing.
No, not a scathing. A wonderfully worded and spot on column, and I want to read a piece of it real quick.
Yeah. We're over 6,000
He's
people.
basically saying it's time. It's got to end.
It's time. Yeah.
Quote, who failed to get his team in a loose, confident frame of mind and ready to dominate a team of significantly lesser talent? Who was too slow to make adjustments on Golke when his shooting set the tone and gave Oakland confidence? Who watched helplessly while his team crumbled in the final 4 minutes and made mistake after mistake? It's Calipari. It's always Calipari. And Kentucky fans who take great pride in this program know deep in their gut that this marriage has run its course. They haven't been a real factor in the national championship since COVID-19, haven't come close to that level. In fact, Kentucky's postseason record, including the SEC tournament, since 2019 is a disastrous 2-6. At Kentucky, 4 years of mediocre basketball is a long time. At Kentucky, it usually gets you fired. If Kentucky want to fire him, it would owe him $33 million. That's a massive sum of money the school would likely be hesitant to pay, even if it knows how toxic the environment will be when he comes back. And as much as Calipari likes money, maybe more than anyone in the history of college athletics, it's hard to see him walking away without getting what he believes he deserves. The best course of action would be to get together, admit that this isn't working anymore, and come up with a settlement that satisfies Calipari's ego and allows him to say he's done all he can at Kentucky and it's time to move on.
Yeah.
And Strebel and I have agreed on this. The 10-year mark was the end of 2019. I truly believe, and Strebel has agreed with me when I've said it, that he wanted to get one last attempt. And that 2020 team was a team that was peaking at the right time. It's probably the last team that Cal's had that was getting better going into the tournament. And I think he wanted to at least try to get to a Final Four and make that run and then walk out. Because you don't have to win the title, but you get to a Final Four, you get back to that benchmark, you can say, look, I left the program much better than where I started it. And when that team didn't get a chance to play, he started chasing. And he can't walk away losing, in the round of 32. Well, I got to come back. Well, I can't go after losing, definitely can't go after losing to St. Peter, so I'm going to come back. Well, I got to keep going. And I think it's become a situation now. He stayed just too long, and now he's trying to chase a goal that he's never going to achieve.
Can I make you feel better?
Probably not, and also that's a really weird way to word that. But
the 2020 team wasn't going to do it either. That team lost a freaking.
I'm not saying it was. I'm
Yeah.
saying that in his mind that he was trying to make that one more run, that he was trying to get in deep into the tournament with that team and go out on a positive note.
Yeah.
And because he didn't get the opportunity in his head, he was able to elevate that team to, well, we were going to win the title. Well, I've heard like 8 schools say that if they were going to win. Louisville fans say if 2020 hadn't
had a good shot at that too.
And I'm not poo-pooing that away.
They were
I'm
number
saying
one
there are
in the country at some
there are
point
a
that
lot
year.
of teams that want to lay claim to that title. So he got stuck in a situation now where he feels like he can't get out because, like he said, like the caller said, you walk away now, it looks like you failed.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is you have utterly failed. You're going to continue to fail. If you can't get it done with this group, there is no summit that you're reaching. So, as Dan Walken said, you've got to find a way to stoke his ego and let him walk away with his head held
We'll
up.
build a statue for him.
I mean, he should get one over Buttermilk. And Walken also pointed out too, he hasn't had a great career at UK. He's had a good career. He hasn't had a great one.
No, there's been plenty of times
15
we've had
years,
this.
and he's reached 4 Final Fours with 1 title.
Right.
But when you look at the talent he's had,
It's been crazy.
502-267-9680.
Before you go to the phone lines real quick, since we've got 6145 on the line right now, I want to put a little pitch in for me too, because we just talked about raising money. And if people don't know, I am actually competing in Let's Dance Louisville this year. So that means I'm doing like Louisville's Dancing the Stars. And so we're raising money to help feed the hungry. And if people want to donate to that, I would be very, very grateful. You just go to letsdancelouisville.com, click on the tab that says 2024 dancers, find Mike Gandolfo, and donate my name. I personally really want to get that number up big time. So anything you all can do to help there would be great. So
we talked about possibly doing post-game show from there. Could you imagine if we?
Oh, we almost did. If this game was on, if this game was going to be Friday, we were going to do it for because I've got a fundraiser tomorrow at Boomba's in Westport Village.
I don't know that they might have had to kick us out. And back to the phone lines. Tommy has been waiting very patiently. We appreciate it. What's on your mind?
Tommy, you there?
Tommy, you there?
Tommy might have fallen asleep on the phone lines too.
Well, this is the exact same phone line.
Are we having trouble with line 2?
Tommy, are you there?
Yeah.
Oh, there he is. All right.
What's on your mind?
Do we have Gary back on there too? Did I see that?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna thank you guys for taking my call. Long-time listener, long-time UK fan. Have 3 younger brothers who are UK fans. I just have one question. Want to get your thoughts on it. Let's say UK or U of L makes a good hire, with a coach who is proven to win a couple of rounds in the tournament. Does that put U of L in a better spot right now than UK is with Cal?
With Cal? Probably not.
I mean, Cal's already got a foothold on recruiting for next year, which, God, I don't want to have that conversation, but it is what it is.
It is. And at some point, you're going to have to cut that rope. But at the end of the day, like, U of L still, like, Louisville's, it's not going to just necessarily be, even with transfer portal and all that stuff, it's not necessarily going to be an overnight success.
And you got to win fans back. There are fans who aren't coming back until they show that it's worth spending their money for.
Yeah. And again, I want Louisville to be. I personally want Louisville to be good, just not as good as Kentucky, because I do think it helps. It pushes that level too. So, all right, man. You got anything else for us? All right, Tom is done. Gary,
appreciate it. 502-267-9680. Gary, welcome back.
Gary,
we don't know if you fell asleep on us or what was going on, but welcome back to the UK Postgame Show.
Wasn't me, fellas. This is the first time I've been trying to get in.
It must have been a different Gary.
We got to get Gary a special phone number.
To hell with it. I said to hell with it when I took a shower.
And we're still going, man. We cannot have this show without your comments, Gary. It would not be.
Well, there's nothing to say, man. Listen, I told y'all that last week. Remember me calling in and telling you that was the terrible defensive effort. And I'd be damned if they didn't go out and do even a worse job, if not a worse job tonight. It's just pathetic. One thing I do know, this team fundamentally was not coached on defense.
No.
They don't know how to stand. They don't know how to stand in front of their man. They don't know how to rotate on defense and get weak side help. They don't know how to cut a baseline off.
Gary, they don't know how to jump to the ball. Like,
they don't know how to stay on their feet to guard a man and stay. And it's just listen. You don't learn defense in a bowling alley, fellas. And
you also don't learn defense in March. It needed to be learned in October, November, and December. And at the end of the day, this is a systemic. This is always. That's why if I ever hear another commentator talk about Cal being a defensive coach, this is always an issue with how he coaches defense. He relies on their athleticism. That's it.
It was a horrible coaching display of defense this year. That's for dang sure. But I will agree, guys. I mean, the last 5 years, and we've become nothing but flameouts in the month of March. I mean, just absolute flameouts. And this was this year. Think about it. They beat Tennessee the last game of the year, and you think, well, maybe this team does have a shot.
Well, Alabama, Auburn, yeah, all that.
Oh, the same Tennessee team that's beating their team by
they're beating St. Peter's. So you guys say that Tennessee's actually beating St. Peter's.
Yeah, I was going to say. By the way, Tennessee's winning by 77-43.
Well, at least one SEC team showed up today.
Yeah, well, I really think they're the best team in the conference anyway. But having said all that, I think what y'all were talking about a while ago with I can't remember the guy you was talking about. Wrote an article, but
Dan Wolken. Yep.
They need to get Mitch Barnhart, if he's going to do what he needs to do as an athletic director of this program, needs to get Calipari to sit down with him, and they do need to figure something out. And Cal, for his own sake, and he should be man enough to realize it ain't working no more. The one and done era is gone, fellas. You're not winning championships with 4 or 5 one and doneers on the floor. It ain't happening. That's past. Okay, he was a man. He was.
I'm not sure it ever was. I mean, I think you had a freakish year in 2012, but if you go back and you really look at the teams that won the title through those years, they might have had a couple one and dones on there that rose up to that occasion, but they also had and even that Kentucky team in 2012 had some older guys that could still play as well too. It was never going to be a team of 5 freshmen that could get it done. It was never going to be that.
And just the weird rotations this year, how he coached his team. Again, not starting his 5 best players. I went over it to the night. There's no use in beating that dead horse. So now it's over with now.
Who were his 5 best players tonight? Because I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Dylon.
listen, the bottom line, guys, is this team is soft. It's soft. It's a soft team. They, they no second chance points. They don't fight for rebounds. I mean, it's been a total failure at the end of the year this year. So, but Kentucky needs a new direction. I mean, I'm just saying I know people still love Calipari. He should be in the, Hall of Fame as a recruiter, but he's not a Hall of Fame coach. I don't want to hear. I get tired. He's not a Hall of Fame coach.
I hear you,
He's
man.
won one national title. There's a whole hell of a lot of coaches out there that's won one national title with a lot less talent than he's had over the years. So he is a Hall of Fame recruiter. He has done a hell of a job recruiting. But what are you doing with it when you get him here? I mean, I don't know, guys. It's just been a frustrating way to end the season. But
Gary,
I enjoy talking, fellas.
I just know that we've enjoyed having you all year long. You've been faithful.
Right, thanks, guys.
All right, man. Hey, do we want to go ahead and we're getting close to 2 hours, so we might need to take just a little break for us, and we'll keep going. We're not going to stop. Again, we're going to go the whole night.
We got Mike and Larry on hold, so please stay with us. We'll take a quick
break,
couple-minute break here, so we can kind of refresh and regroup and everything, and then we will be back to take your calls, and we will get to the text line. I swear.
We will. We were not getting to all the Facebook comments, which is in like the thousands right now. So. I appreciate it all, though, man. Keep it coming.
Huge thanks to Zach again, working his tail off back there. 502-267-9680. We do have an open phone line, so if you want to get in on the conversation, give us a call. We will get to you right after this commercial break.
ESPN of ESPN Bet is the only place to find daily exclusives and offers with your favorite ESPN personalities and shows. Sign up today and new users get $100 in bonus bets for making any sportsbook bet. Find your favorite markets and bets like in-game wagering, cross-sport parlays, teasers, and all the props you can handle. That's ESPN Bet. Download today. What a play.
Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Spring Street Bar and Grill, open daily 11 a.m. to 4 a.m. with food served until 2 a.m. Join them for Monday Night Trivia at 7 p.m. with cash prizes for the top 3 teams. Daily lunch special, 5 and fry. 5 chicken wings and a side of fries for just $10. Monday through Friday, 11 to 4. Also, $10 wing specials for football Mondays and all-day Thursdays. 10 of Spring Street's famous wings for only $10. Spring Street Bar and Grill. Come early, stay late.
Did you know LMPD posts photos of thieves caught on camera? Problem is, half the time, you can't even make out the face. What about your cameras? If someone broke into your business? Here at Sonatrol, the #1 rated security company in Kentucky, we sell high-resolution cameras with great lenses. Even at night, our outdoor cameras record in color. If you have old, grainy analog cameras, black and white footage, or don't have a camera system at all, give us a call, 502-966-8999. Make your New Year resolution new camera resolutions.
Lanning Paints is truly Louisville's hometown paint manufacturer. We create architectural coatings for homes and ship our industrial and commercial products across the United States and even across the world. I am Aaron Lanning, and I am lucky enough to work alongside my father, Nick, who is our chemist and brainchild for our local brand. He is working daily to formulate finishes and coatings that will beautify your interior walls, basement and garage floors, driveways, fences, siding, brick, and more. Visit LanningPaint.com to learn more about us or call us at 245-0630 to reach our Middletown location or 612-2138 for Dixie Highway, where we proudly offer a full array of Benjamin Moore products. Lanning Paints, painting the USA from Louisville, Kentucky since 1983.
It's that good, there knows pizza. Good taste, happy taste, your place, my place. What's gonna make you happy? It's on your face. It's that good, yes it is, and we deliver it. Taste is fun, yes it is, we guarantee it. Yeah, it's that good, there knows pizza. Yeah, it's that good.
All right, welcome back to Gold Standard Postgame Show. This is the Gold Standard Postgame Show. Again, this is where we celebrate the greatest college basketball program in the world. And
Presented by Kentucky Fish and Wildlife.
Presented by Kentucky Fish and Wildlife. I'm Mike Gandolfo, Jason Ence. 502-267-9680 is the call, is the phone number. We're going to go as long as you guys want to. We're going straight to the phone lines.
Yep. Mike is up next. Been holding very patiently. We appreciate it. What is on your mind?
Talking to myself.
Hey, good evening, guys. First of all, I'm a Purdue guy, but I moved here in 1991.
So you understand the pain of losing early in the tournament.
And what prompted my call was Ence's description of Matt Painter as a fraud. I think that was a bit strong, and I think if he looks at it in the bigger picture, he wouldn't say that. Granted,
fair.
The last 4 years in the NCAA tournament have been terrible. But if you look at Painter and Calipari over the last 9 seasons, Painter will have more NCAA tournament wins.
Yep.
He's got a winning record against top 25 teams. And here's the difference. Painter will have 10 wins, assuming he wins tomorrow. Cal's had 9 since the 38-1 team. Cal has 9 NCAA wins since that team. Painter has 10. Painter has 2 NBA players, Jaden Ivey and Caleb Swanigan, that covered that entire period. Cal, and by the way, Caleb Swanigan was
in and out quick. Yeah.
But just think about this. 9 NCAA wins with these players. Jamal Murray, Tyler Ulis, De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk, Bam Adebayo, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Kevin Knox, P.J. Washington, Tyler Hero, Keldon Johnson, B.J. Boston, Isaiah Jackson, Oscar Shibwe, Ty Washington, Cason Wallace, Chris Livingston, Antonio Reeves, Reed Shepard, D.J. Wagner, Rob Dillingham, Justin Edwards, Aaron Bradshaw. 22 NBA players, 9 NCAA tournament wins.
And it could take us 3 years to get 39.
Don't bring facts into this, all right? This is an emotional.
You really
that just made me
that hit hard.
Not Mike didn't make me mad hearing that
No.
list. And
That's a really good call, by the way, Mike.
Just again, how much this man has underperformed. I'm pissed off again.
And by the way, Ence, I go to Mackey a lot. That place is rocking. They love him. They love the team because he gets guys rated, in the 100s, the 200s, and makes them into Big Ten champions and Big Ten tournament champions and number 1 seeds. Granted, the NCAA tournament has been disappointing. We love the guy.
Oh no! Trust me, it's all tongue in cheek. Now, Rick Barnes, when I say he's a fraud, he is absolutely a fraud.
But
no,
Cal and Barnes are friends, so I think at the end of the day that's exactly right. I mean, Kentucky fans would love to have that. Kentucky fans would love to have the guys that are in the 50s to 100 in the recruiting class that are
maybe a D2 transfer that can shoot the lights out.
Well, and they're going to stick around for 3 or 4 years, and that gets better and buys into the team, buys into what's on the front of the jersey and not on the back of the jersey. Isn't playing for their draft stock. That's sign me up. Sign me up.
One last point. Since that 38-1 team, Cal has never defeated a higher seed in the NCAA tournament.
That's damning.
He's beaten the 3 seed twice, but in each of those years, he was the 2 seed.
Yeah.
All right. Good night.
All right, man. That's a great call, and we appreciate it.
Imagine if Malik Monk or De'Aaron Fox didn't start because Dominique Hawkins had seniority.
And look, it's something we haven't talked about, but
I love Dominique.
There is something to the fact of the upperclassmen part, because there were 2 guys out there tonight playing like it was their last game, or that it could be their last game.
Trey Mitchell and Antonio Reeves.
And it was their last game. And that absolutely sucks. Antonio Reeves came back. These players talked him into coming back, and he lost.
Antonio
he came
Reeves
back and he loses in the first round to this team. I mean, like, the kid's got to be gutted. The kid's got to be absolutely gutted. And he played his ass off. He has all season. But nobody else on that team, none of the other guys other than those 2 played like it was going to be their last game, because they know it's not going to be their last game. They know that they'll be back next year. They'll be in another program, or they'll be in the NBA. And that is a real issue with the whole one and done thing, is that you lose that sense of urgency. I'm not saying you've got to have a good mixture, but there is something to the fact that when you have all these guys that you know are going to be going to the pros, and you talk all the time about, well, we're putting all these guys in the pros, that becomes their goal. It's not to win a national championship. If they do that, hey, it's fun.
It's nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
But that's not their goal.
We talk about it all the time in the business world. Are you committed? Are you interested?
And in the back of your mind,
I'm interested in winning a national title. That sounds great.
And in the back of your mind, if you know you're going to be a top 15 pick in the NBA draft, are you going to necessarily die for that loose ball and possibly get hurt?
I'm committed to go to the NBA. I'm not really that committed to win a national title. But
Am I going to do something that maybe might be risky and dive out of bounds for that loose ball? No,
probably not.
There is something to that.
Antonio Reeves somehow in 35 minutes of play today ended up with a positive plus minus. He was +4. So in 35 minutes, Antonio Reeves was on the floor. We won by 4 minutes. It was the 5 minutes Antonio Reeves was off the court that we obviously lost by 8. And 27 points on 11 for 18 shooting, 5 for 9 from the 3-point range, 3 rebounds, which for him is a good number, and only 1 turnover tonight for Antonio Reeves. He was incredible. He's obviously our player of the game. No question about it. Trey Mitchell, 14 points, 13 boards.
Those two played their tails off tonight. I'm not going to give crap to either one of them. We will have plenty of time now to talk about the guys that didn't show up, but I do want to get back to the
I'm sure at some point we're going to talk about who's coming back and who's not coming back on the team.
Larry has been waiting very patiently, and we will bring him in next on the UK Basketball Postgame Show. What's going on?
Hey, I appreciate you all providing therapy for all these people on a night like this, man. I've been a UK fan. My first game was 1966 in Memorial Coliseum, Rupp's Run. So I was 6 years old. And none of this has felt right since Tubby left. When we won the 98 championship, that felt right. We had a mixture of players on the team. Cal came in 2010. It was magic. And then, like you said, 3 years later, he wins it. I never wanted Cal, not from the beginning, but I was mesmerized by what was happening. And then I slowly watched it turn to crap. And here's what I think about Antonio Reeves. If I was an NBA team, I'd want to scoop him up surely because he knew what he had to do to improve his game to make it into the NBA, and he did it. And I don't think Calipari developed him. So that kid
did it on his own.
To me right now, proved to me he didn't do it on his own.
Yeah.
I mean, and with that kind of work ethic and that kind of, like you said tonight, him and Mitchell played their tails off. I don't know. I was afraid for a long time about who we're going to get, what's going to happen. I don't even care. I want to start over.
We just want new blood. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, it hadn't felt right since Tubby left. It honestly, it hadn't. I've never honestly been confident in one single basketball game we played in since 2013. I really haven't. Not even the team that went all the way to the Final Four and got beat by Wisconsin. Honestly,
the 38-1,
anyway,
2015. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you all for.
Yeah, Larry. Yeah, for sure.
One more thing. One more embarrassing ass thing. He had the gall to use the word tweak again. And everybody knew that was crap. Everybody knew it was crap. And then you heard all these people say, oh, well, the tweak is going to be Dillingham and Reed Shepard's going to start. Well, that obviously didn't happen. There's no tweak. There wasn't a tweak the first time. There wasn't a tweak this time. He needs to tweak his butt on out of Lexington. Thanks.
Appreciate the call.
That would be the ideal tweak. Maybe he would twerk himself out of Lexington. You want to see Cal twerk?
Moving on to the UPS Jobs text line. And
we have calls?
Cleared through the calls. Yeah, if you want to call,
the lines are open.
We'll keep the lines open for a bit. We have texts from before 10 o'clock that we haven't read yet.
I can't even
11:42.
I can't even begin to keep up.
I told you guys we weren't getting out of here before midnight.
I'm sure.
437-9680. Texter says, "Be quiet." This is a long one. That's getting marked. Texter says, "Be quiet, Round Daddy. Kentucky fans throw themselves into an abuse cycle each year with Cal. Literally, that's not hyperbole. Loose attorney fans, we hate you, Cal. Cal, but I have recruits. Fans, no, we are done, Cal. We have a smart fan base. Cal, but I have more recruits. Fans, okay, but I'm not buying back in. Cal, I got more recruits. Fans, hell yeah, championship for sure."
That's not wrong.
It's not wrong.
It's not wrong.
It's not wrong. Texter, what a really telling aspect of Cal's coaching aspect is that there is no coaching tree of his that is successful. None of his assistants have gone on to success. That is a big hole in his resume, and that's something Streeble and I have talked about.
Well, we already talked about it on the show.
We've talked about it tonight.
Right, yeah.
I mean, it's been an issue for years. Cal can't get credit for the W's if he's not going to take blame for the L's. Texter says, I do not want Boy Scout morality police Barnhart making the next basketball hire. That's a real conversation to be had as well, because
Mike Pratt's not around.
Made a lot of bad hires.
And Mike Pratt's not around to be that special guidance that happened on the Cal hire. You know, who
was he going to bring in? I'm trying to remember. Who was he looking to bring in before or until they got involved and steered him towards Cal?
Well, he brought in Billy Clyde on his own.
I know, but I'm talking about after that. I can't remember. Somebody has told the story before, and I can't remember who it was.
So, and I don't know if, do they go to Jack Gibbons and have him be the guy who helps pick the next coach? Is it? But
I think
you got to go.
We're in a new day and age with NIL and the transfer portal.
I agree.
I think you've got to go to younger guys.
So, but who is it? I mean, is it
I think
is it Patrick Patterson?
I think you go to the 90s players, early 2000s players. So, guys like
here's the issue with that though. The 90s, well, especially in the 90s guys. Those are Patino guys, right? And you all can say whatever you want. And I'm buddies with Derek Anderson, and he loves Kentucky, whatever, and he's a Kentucky fan.
I'm not talking about Derek Anderson.
I'm not either. I'm just saying you got to understand about these guys. They're loyal to their coach, right? So I don't know, man. It's gonna be it'd be really interesting to see who Barnhart pulled as his special team of individuals to help him figure out who, because like Tim Couch helping on the football side or whatever else that had happened, but he definitely would. He's shown that he would do that in the past. I think he would do it again. What would you think about Dana Altman as a head coach at Kentucky?
I wouldn't.
Okay,
I think if you're replacing Cal. Whoever U of L talks about, it's got to be a big name. It's got to be 10 times that for Kentucky. You've got to go after.
And I don't agree with that, but
I do, because I think right now
there's no big names out there. You're not going to get Self. You're going to get Self or Hurley.
I don't want Self. When I say a big name, I don't mean somebody that's in their 50s and 60s. It's got to be somebody younger, but it's got to be somebody.
So who's a big name that's young?
Like Hurley.
Hurley. Okay. He's it. That's the list.
What's the his name's forgetting. What's the coach at Arizona?
Tommy Lloyd?
Yeah.
He's not young though. I don't think.
I thought he was in his late 40s, early
50s. Let me look. But I don't think he's young.
I think you've got to go get somebody, it's got to be, and I don't necessarily think that he's the guy, but Nate Oates, that kind of name. It's got to be somebody.
Nate Oates.
It's got to be somebody that fans.
Tommy Lloyd is 49.
It's two things for me. It's one, it's got to be somebody that has a game plan. We talked all the time about Kenny Payne. You had no idea what he wanted to do. Well, Cal, what he wants to do, but it doesn't work. And he doesn't know how to. I have never seen him attack another team's weakness. And he tells you all the time, I don't worry about the show. I don't worry about the other team. I worry about my team.
You should.
But the problem with that is you don't fix the things that are wrong with your team. So how much are you really worrying about your team?
Right.
And you talked about it during the game tonight. There was no game plan to draw up plays. It was shoot threes, or it was Rob Dillingham try to make something happen, YOLO, because there was no idea of what they wanted to do. And Cal has said as much after the game. He's go ask them. I don't know. Well, I mean, that's what your job literally is to coach them. We have callers back on the phone line, so we'll get back to the UPS Jobs Textline here in a bit. But we're going to bring Jerry in next. He has been waiting patiently. What's going on, Jerry?
Explain to me how a Hall of Fame coach drags out a team like for 25 minutes, but behind for 25 minutes. And the first time out, they interviewed him online or on TV, and he said, "We're fine. We've got this." Did anyone, as soon as he says that, did you not just cringe? Were you guys watching the game?
Yeah, I watched the game for sure, and I think your points are really. I mean, I had I had no confidence at all that he has anything, but that we were in a situation.
Any time that you've watched this guy over the past several years, we're fine. At the first,
we're gonna be fine.
Said,
we're gonna be fine.
We're gonna be fine.
Yeah,
we're gonna be fine. And that's why he goes back to the huddle and tells his players. And what do? Nothing. They don't adjust.
Oh, we're gonna be fine.
There's absolutely no game plan. They had no game plan to adjust to the guy. All they had to do was either deny him or literally just fouling the whole time, and the game is completely different.
We saw that tweet out earlier about Zach Edey, basically saying they can't call every foul that happens on Zach Edey. He gets fouled every play. And that probably is the truth. And, I'm a little bit more of a hard-nosed coach in that way too. Like, you figure out how to foul him the right way one time, he's probably going to be thinking about the next time he shoots.
And we also had
you get 5 fouls for a reason, right?
We had 3 timeouts under 2 minutes.
We had three timeouts under 20 seconds.
Yeah.
So
again,
yeah.
Who is game planning for this, or are we just not? I mean, that has
they're not game planning. There's zero game plan going on.
Zero game plan.
Zero game plan. Just do what we do.
My guys are talented. Yours aren't. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go out and show up and win the game, and that's just not. That's not a recipe for a 10-loss team.
And I'm going to say this again because to me, there's a couple things that you can look at to tell whether or not how well a team's coached. It's one thing for me is how they are coming in and out of timeouts. Another thing is it is so obvious that our team does not work on late game situations. I'm actually amazed that they've been able to pull out some of the late game situations that they were able to pull out because they do not know situational basketball, end of the game, late game situational basketball. It's terrible.
And you know how you learn about late game situational basketball in crunch time? You advance in the SEC tournament and you get experience.
No, but you actually can practice that stuff. I mean, you should.
But I'm saying you take seriously tournament games and you tell your kids,
yeah,
hey, we want to take this seriously because you want to know what happens when you don't take it seriously. They don't take it seriously.
Right. No question about it. But like you got all upset, for example, there was that time when the ball rolled out, like 6 seconds rolled out and that we lost off the game clock that we didn't get back. You know what?
Didn't matter.
Well, it didn't matter, but at the same time, like, go get the freaking basketball. Get it back and play. Understand that there's some urgency. Point out to the attention to the ref that they're stalling intentionally. None of that stuff happens. They let it happen to them. They let that happen to them. Situationally, they have no idea what's going on in the game.
The point in the game I knew we lost was when Trey Mitchell tossed the ball out of bounds and he didn't even realize that it was just a one-shot free throw.
Yeah.
It was over.
And that was early.
No one on the court, not even the coaching staff, knew that it was just a one-shot attempt.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
They had to go to he was complaining to the monitor about a one-shot attempt, and it was that was it.
Tonight we had DJ Wagner, Onienzo, Dillingham, Bradshaw, Thiero, Shepard, and Big Z combined for 25 points. Luckily, Antonio Reese had 27. All right, man. I appreciate the call. We'll get you next year. I hate saying that to people, man, that we're going to be talking to them next year.
Yeah, I know. Back to the phone lines we go. Chris is up next. What's on your mind?
Chris, you there? Is that your same phone line?
Yeah, it's line 2. There's something weird going on, I think.
You just
Chris, are you there?
You pushed some button last time to make it happen.
No, I didn't do anything. Chris, you there? I'm going to put him on hold and try to bring him back. All right, Chris, are you there?
Chris,
right, going once, going twice. All right.
We're getting another phone call as we talk right now. You want to go to a couple texts?
502-267-9680. Yeah, back to the text line here. Texter points out, don't forget he has missed 2 tournaments as well, including 9 and 16 a few years ago. Standards have fallen so low. Texter says, I was an early loser of faith in Cal. His shtick wore thin early to me. When he says his number one job is to prepare the players for the NBA, UK admin should have called him and said, John, your number one job is to win national championships. Shut your mouth or get fired.
At the end of the day, that's what gets them money. That's what increases their fundraising is when Cal wins championships.
Since Cal was hired at UK, Duke, North Carolina, UConn, and Villanova have won multiple titles, and Butler has played for the title as many times as UK has. That's all we need to know. Got a hiccup there. Texter says, how many of those people on the stream are Louisville fans? Hey, streamers are streamers.
Streamers are streamers. Numbers are numbers, man.
As Andy Sweeney used to say, hate listens are still counted.
We're still over 6,500 people,
and that's with another post-game show going on right now.
So. Well, we're gonna be on when that post-game show's over. So,
Texter says 3,000 listening and 2,500 are Louisville fans.
That's fine, man.
Okay, again, Texter sent in the Spider-Man meme, and it's John Calipari and Tony Bennett. Cal just said the players didn't play to their abilities on TV. Yeah, he threw himself into the bus.
Kevin Keats is making a little. He's making a little run for Louisville's next head coaching job.
Multiple people have sent this photo in. It's only one man can save Kentucky basketball, and it's a photo of Kenny Payne. Texas said, "Oh, poor guy." Texas says, "Picked a bad Lent to give up bourbon." Texter says, "With NIL here now, bums like Cal can't pay under the table and get away with it. Free open market now, pony up." That's not the issue. We had vastly superior talent than many of the teams we played this year. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many players he pays. What more does he need than what he had this year?
He had 7 different guys that have shown up on mock drafts this year, and that's not counting Trey Mitchell.
Let's look at what he had, because he can't pay players under the table now, Mike. So he can't build a team that has 4 guys that shoot well from downtown. Oh, wait. Yes, he can. Okay. Well, he can't get 3 7-foot. Oh, no, he did that too. He can't get the top point. Oh, no, damn, he did that. Top point guard whose family tried to steer him to another school. Can't get, I mean, if only he could have paid him under the, hey, oh, wait, he did get him. That's such a dumb text. I'm sorry.
Dumb.
Texter sent in how it started and how it's going, and it's John Calipari slowly morphing into
Gillespie.
Billy Gillespie. Yeah. Coach Gag, John Gagapari. Texter says $1,300 per seat in Rupp for one game buys this man out. Okay.
So people they're paying that for their seat license, probably, and their donation level. You know, it might have to be prorated a little bit, but that could happen.
Yeah, this texter sent a couple texts. He said, 2 soft things that are made for March: Kentucky basketball and Peeps. Peep jousting is fun.
I hope Cal doesn't last as long as the Peeps.
Oh God, those things go through a nuclear bomb. So same texter said, "Did you also say you're worried about which 1 seed Kentucky would have to?" Oh yeah, we did talk about that the other night.
We did, and we didn't want Houston.
I'm watching this game behind you.
Yeah,
as we're
the TV behind you is not working, so I got to look back every once in a while.
And it's just pissing me off because we spent so much of the show the other day talking about, well, how would we match up against Texas Tech or NC State? Well, it doesn't really freaking matter now, does it?
All right, serious though. If Keats gets his team in the Sweet 16, Louisville will be like, hey, come on over.
Texter says Dr. Capilouto needs to tell Mitch, I don't care how you figure it out, take it out of your salary or all I care, Cal goes or you go. And then he also said Cal can make adjustments after he goes back and looks at the tape. Yeah, we'll get ready for Saturday. We'll get it figured out. 502-267-9680, where phone lines are full again. So if somebody drops off, we will go. We said it. We'll go as long as you guys want. We're closing in on midnight. Actually, Zach, real quick, let's hit an ID before we go back to the phones. I kind of threw Zach.
You're listening to Kentuckiana's ESPN 680, WHBE Newburgh, and 105.7 WHBE FM Eminence Frankfurt.
And now we're legal for another hour.
Okay.
Kentucky Fish and Wildlife UK Basketball Postgame Show. I'm Jason Ence. That's Big Mike Gandolfo, Zachy C behind the boards. Bobby has been waiting patiently. We will go to him next. What's up?
Gentlemen, first of all, thank you all for staying on late. Always good to have
y'all keep us on until Diener gets here. That's what we'll see. Let's see what we do.
I don't know about that now.
Come on, man. Let's go.
I got to work in the morning.
I'll keep going. I'll keep going.
Appreciate you guys being on. It is nice. I got to be honest though. I'm a Louisville fan, and I have to take some, I guess, punishment, I guess, for this loss. Obviously, we haven't had a whole lot of cheer about as a fan base this year. So my father-in-law and a whole bunch of my family are UK fans. So I was like, yeah, I guess I'll cheer for Kentucky, you know. And so obviously, I just can't have nice things. So
I think it's Louis' fault. Louis talks about it all the time. He's like, I just want a good team to cheer for. And ever since he's been on the radio, it's like, it's all Louis' fault. It's the curse of Louis Robo.
But I did have to call in. You know, I know Kentucky is obviously maybe the top, if not the top 2 or 3 programs in all of the college basketball. But you know, I hate to say it, and don't get me wrong. Like I said, I know Louisville and Kentucky, it's different stratosphere. We're both very good, but Kentucky is a little bit higher. But it's not impossible for you to end up with another Billy Gillispie.
No, not at all.
And find yourself back in 2 or 3 years setbacks. So I understand all the Cal hate and everything like that. I definitely do, because his coaching style, I've hated his coaching style since he was at Memphis. It's just annoying to me, and it's kind of what's ruined college basketball in general, in my opinion. But, you know, I would hate to see, because I'm a lot like you, Gandolfo. I think it's great when both teams in the state are good. I think that's by far the best. You know, it gives us bragging rights over Tobacco Road. And
right.
We haven't had that for a while now. But I did want to comment, though, because I know that you were big on the ACC not being a great conference this year and everything like that. And you were kind of beating your chest a little bit about the SEC, but I have to say, it's not looking
not looking good right now. Nope, not at all.
And my God, and I one more comment, which is I'm kind of not glad, but I guess happy that UK lost tonight, because I have to be honest, this big guy, RJ Burns, may have undressed the big men from UK. I mean, he would have absolutely worked them, I think.
He might have picked Big Z and thrown him into the fifth row.
Just the physicality of it alone.
He set a pick on a guy earlier and sent him flipping through the air.
I think Bradshaw and Big Z could both be standing behind him. You wouldn't even be able to see that if they were there. He's a big dude.
They're so small compared to him, man.
And I'll tell you,
you guys have a good one.
Keats was one of my coaches in the Derby Classic, so I'm all about cheering for Kevin Keats.
Appreciate the call, Bobby. You can call back anytime. That does open up a phone line, 502-267-9680. We're going to head back to the phones, and we have James up next. I don't believe this is Struble. This is probably a different James.
Different James. James Black? Oh, James, you there?
Hello?
Yeah, what's going on, James?
Hey, it's James in Carrollton, Kentucky. I was gonna ask, about Kentucky basketball's performance tonight, but I think I'm just gonna, I want to call before I go to bed, and
it's kind of like erectile dysfunction. That's what happened tonight.
I don't think I'm gonna waste your all's time, so I want to just ask. I know this is a basketball post-game show, but I'm looking forward to Kentucky football season, so I would like for y'all just to kind of move on from Kentucky basketball for the season and just,
I was
preview the upcoming football schedule.
I was listening to the spring practice videos today, so I'm getting there.
I think Kentucky, there's a chance, with this upcoming class that they could actually win a championship. I think this is Mark Stoops' year, to win a national championship. I really do. I think this class might be his best class in 13 years. I really do. I think this is the year, that they put all the doubters to bed. I really do.
I hope you're right. Build the statue. Let's do it.
I think Kentucky, there's a chance, they beat Alabama, which they haven't had luck in the last 7 or 8 years, but I think they will beat Alabama, and I think that after beating Alabama this coming up season, I think that's going to be, the good luck for them to win it all, because, they've had good teams, but this past year's season, I watched it, and, I've seen, Kentucky coming back, but, they've just not had any, similar to Cal, Mark Stoops is, what I thought was funny last year is him and Cal actually had a disagreement
Yep, that's right. Football school.
Yeah, I love that. I loved it because Cal said that Kentucky is just a basketball school, and then Mark Stoops said, no, Kentucky is a football school.
Yep, I love it.
That was hilarious.
James, we got to keep on moving on. Thanks, bud. All right, next line. I don't know what that was. I'm not 100% sure.
I'm pretty sure James is a Louisville
I'm
fan.
I'm pretty
sure we know what
Kentucky's
that was.
not playing Alabama next year, unless they get the SEC championship game.
Oh,
Like, we go
man.
down to Texas and beat Texas. That'd be all right.
Yeah. Greg, you are up next. Thank you for holding through whatever that was. What's on your
Greg?
mind?
Yes.
I was trying to get to you, man. I was trying to.
No.
How you doing?
All right. Good. I'm from Woodstock, Illinois.
Oh, man.
Kentucky. Yeah. So my thing was, I watched, a podcast with Julius Randle saying, after these tournament games, Cal, he brings the kids in and literally after loss say, you're gone. You're not here. You're out of there. So my thing was with this team this year, we had a chance to get Hunter Dickinson or retain Sheboy, but that push wasn't there for it because he believes in Aaron Bradshaw. Okay, you take this team tonight. If you have Sheboy still on the team, they win that game.
I don't know, man. I'm not there with you on that one.
And the only reason why I say that is because we had no inside presence all year round. The offense spread good, defense bad. You're going to take on the Enzo over Sheboy. We got out rebound on one possession. It was like 4 or 5 offensive rebounds.
I would need Oscar to be a little bit more of a willing passer to really have the offense work through him.
His passing was horrible. It was. But the way they defended this year, he wouldn't have hurt the defense. The defense was already bad.
Yeah, it was already bad. That's very true. I'm very grateful for the years we got with Oscar, but I think it was time for him to kind of move on too. So thanks a lot for the call today, man.
Yep.
Appreciate you.
No problem.
All right, one more.
Yeah, we got Gary up next, and again, if you we'll still be on here a little bit longer if you want.
We'll go through some more texts, right? So
yeah, we'll go get
502-267-9680.
The texts now say Thursday. They don't have a timestamp anymore.
It just
They
says
now say
Thursday.
All my messages say yesterday.
Yeah.
Gary, you're up next on the postgame show. What's up?
Thank you.
Gary, you there?
Yeah, what's up, Gary?
Yeah,
man.
I'm here. Yeah.
What you got for us?
Hey, well, first thing, the big guy for NC State, I think his name's Burns or something like that.
Yep.
Okay.
Excellent.
Stoops ought to be recruiting him for like
Sure.
defensive back.
Yeah.
And but the real thing, okay, so you got your Kentucky freshman. I think that Shepard's the only one that's showing a little bit of tears in this and that kind of thing, and you got to have the guys play through this for 2 or 3 years, and then come back and keep coming back, and that's when you start winning
You got to learn how to win so you can learn how to be a champion, kind of thing, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Totally. Yeah. And they don't have this, and they never will under this formula. And really, the reason Cal won his only championship was because he had
I think it might be Luther again.
Terrence Jones and Darius Miller, who were both seniors and NBA locks, and they were the glue that held the team, those freshmen together. And so, I just think that Cal's days are gone. And
Rich,
who they get, I don't see anybody out there unless it's Jay Wright. That's about it. I don't see anybody else going to fill his spot that's got the charisma and can recruit like he can. So that's
the person's out there. We might not know exactly who it is, and that's why I'm okay with, like, even if they took a flyer. I really it would be. So,
And hey, and appreciate the call. And look, the tournament's it's only the first day of the tournament.
it is. Well,
It's only the first
second day of the tournament, I guess. Now I don't know since it's Friday. I guess I can't have him meet now.
We're done. First day of the tournament.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, you haven't seen the Sweet 16 round since 2018. Calls are coming in.
This man is just ruining our program at this point. He took us back to the heights, the gold standard, as you've repeatedly said, and
this is the gold standard calling show.
And now we're like
Can we call ourselves that next year?
We went from the gold standard to whatever the
bronze,
worst currency in the world, whatever the worst currency in the world. What does Argentina use? They're having like 300% inflation. 502-267-9680. Next
Welcome
up
to the peso. The peso.
I think the peso might be more. Rich is up next on the UPS or the UK. I'm getting tired on the Kentucky Fish and Wildlife UK basketball postgame
Get that
show.
second win, Ence.
What's going on, Rich?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Doing all right. We're plowing through.
Yeah, I'm a University of Illinois fan, but just like observing things from Kentucky from the outside in, man, I'm glad Chin, Coleman, and two good players because they shouldn't have ran from Illinois, win the second round, and now y'all out of the tournament. That's what they get. But anyway, you gotta Cal is done, man. He's a dinosaur. You better go get Chris Beard or
Brad Underwood,
John Miller, or somebody. No, Brad Underwood not coming to y'all, man. Get out. Come on. He's not coming. He's not coming to Kentucky. You better go get Chris. If I was you guys, I'd go see what Chris Beard is doing.
I don't want Chris Beard.
Cal, hey, he wins though. Cal,
maybe. We don't have enough evidence to know that he wins yet.
But Cal, man, come on, man. He's the past, man. He's a dinosaur, man. He's not doing nothing but rolling the ball out, letting these guys play. And it's like with Cal, to me, it's like, okay, if you had $1 million, if you made $1 million a year, or got a job that pays you $1 million, and you broke, have no money in the bank, what good is it that you make $1 million? What good is it bringing 5-star players in when you going out in the first round? It doesn't matter who you bring in. You leaving in the first round. So all that recruiting, I'll recruit 5-star player. Yeah, but guess what? You at home right now. You got beat by Oakland. Okay? So it don't matter who you bring in. That doesn't matter. You are not winning. So you need to go. Yeah, it's time for a change for you guys. I feel sorry for you guys.
I'm with you, man. Thanks for the sympathy. I appreciate it.
And that goes back to the whole thing of Cal can't sell anything to this fan base anymore. Because what do you sell?
I better get some juice to this computer.
What do you do that? What do you sell to the? Oh, we lost the stream.
No. We're still on.
Oh, there's nothing that you can sell to this fan base because when you have a team like this and you lose, if you lose to a Power 5 school or something like that, or you lose to a school that's got decent talent, it sucks. You can rationalize it. You lost to a school that only got into the tournament because they won their conference championship.
Well,
you lost to a school that ranked in the 300s in some metrics. And by the way, I saw something got posted earlier in our Discord.
Shouldn't be a 14 seed kind of thing. They should have been worse.
Well, I'm pulling this up. Somebody posted this in our Discord, talking about the random, or not the random, the inconsistency of these two teams. And essentially said that the UK ranked like 350th in consistency, and Oakland ranked like 357th. And basically, because of that, you got UK's F game and Oakland's A game, and it was perfect coincidence. But that was I saw a chart earlier today that mapped out shooting percentage, compared to shot quality. And Kentucky was way down on shot quality. They were getting lucky. They were hitting shots that were not good shots, and they got away with it a lot. Especially Rob Dillingham. How many times this year were you and I watching game, and one of us would go, "Rob, why did you say okay?"
Yep. You take
it
good.
And we saw it on the 3 tonight.
Yep.
He hit that 3. We're like, "Why are you?" Okay, it went in. Sweet. Yep. But eventually, that luck runs out, and 9 of 28 from downtown. Cal addressed the biggest weakness that his teams have had over the year, which is 3-point shooting. It's killed us in tournaments. It cost us the title in 2010, probably, because we went 4-28 from downtown against West Virginia's zone. Seemed kind of similar tonight. Team didn't know how to handle a zone. Just jacked up a bunch of threes. Stopped being aggressive.
Especially
we were so aggressive in the first half, and we stopped doing that second half.
Yep. And especially a zone that was geared to take away the perimeter like that. I mean, the post was so open.
And they kept mixing it up. They weren't just showing. They kept going back and forth between a 1-2-2, a 1-3-1. Like you said, that they started going to the 3-2 and taking away our shooters because they knew we couldn't do anything inside.
Right.
Trey Mitchell was the only guy that could do anything, and he did what he could. But we are full again on the phone lines, 502-267-9680.
Let's go, baby.
We're going to go to Chris number 1.
We got 2 Chris's
Yeah,
on?
we have 2 Chris's. So if your name is Chris and you're on the line,
Say
go ahead and
hello.
say hello, and you'll see if it's you.
Is it me?
It is you. Yeah. You're the winner.
All right. So, hey guys, I'm gonna start this call. I'm a Louisville fan, so I just want to.
Hey, we've had some really good Louisville calls tonight, so you're welcomed right here.
Hey, so we've gone through the worst. I don't think y'all can even I don't think y'all drank enough bourbon to deal with what we've dealt with the past couple of years. But I want to start with who are I want to ask you a question. Who are you all? Who can you all even get at this point? So what do you have to pay Cal, $30 million or whatever?
34.
And then you're welcome. We just raised everyone's buyout in the country for the next several years. So I just want to ask that just to get on that one. And I just also wanted to say thank you, KCD Day. It was a blessing, and I can enjoy the tournament for the rest of the year. So I want to thank Cal, and I hope y'all sign him for another lifetime contract. Keep it going, and hey, y'all keep it going. Thank you.
Appreciate it. I just remembered something.
Tell me.
Oh no.
What?
So we had Tuesday, we were out, all the shows were out at the Blind Squirrel.
Right. I did not make it out there.
And
did you go out?
I did, and I looked like I had a stroke because I had dental work done on Tuesday. So the entire left side of my face was completely numb. I went to bed and my ear was still numb.
Okay.
And so I looked like I was having a stroke because my entire left side of my face is just drooping down, and I'm like, hey guys, what's up? But they did the $1,000 DraftKings bet giveaway, bonus bet. And the guy called in this morning. He was on Diener's show with Diener and Blank, and he's talking about, he's like, I'm a Louisville fan, but I'm gonna just for once I'm gonna root for that team down the road.
You put it on Kentucky?
Put it on Kentucky to cover the spread.
Ooh.
And Blank.
You should listen to me.
Blank is like rooting. He's like, I hope you lose. And Diener's like, no, dude, this is a promotion. Why are you rooting against the guy? Somewhere Blank is happy right now. Somewhere Blank is probably driving to Louisville because he can't wait to get on air tomorrow morning to celebrate the fact that we lost. He's probably driving from Santa Claus right now. He's just going to sit outside and wait. But that poor guy. He's a U of L fan.
Well, I never would.
It's the ultimate emotional hedge.
Yeah, I did tell Louis on the call. I was like, I definitely would not bet Kentucky to cover this game.
Oh no!
I said if they win, it's going to be close and it's going to be ugly. So,
all right, back to the phone lines. The other Chris that we didn't just speak to, you were up next on the UK Basketball Postgame show.
Hey, how you guys doing?
We say the best Chris for last, right?
Yeah, man. It's gonna be real short. It's kind of what the last guy was talking about. I'm just gonna throw out 3 names:
Okay.
Bruce Pearl,
Okay.
Dan Hurley, Sean Miller.
All right. Now, so Hurley would be my choice out of that group if I had to choose from him. Sean Miller's interesting because I think he's obviously got tons of charisma. Does his and so obviously Pearl has tons of charisma too. I think just because of age, Bruce would probably be coming third for me for that in that group.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But Sean Miller was a name that popped in my head earlier as well. Because I think he could handle the size of the job. I mean, I really do. I know it didn't go exactly the way he wanted it to go in Arizona, but he's kind of more at home, I think, in this area of the country than anything else. So, yeah, but I mean, Hurley's. If I had to say the team I cheer for, how I want them to play with the toughness that I want to see them play, it's a Hurley type team. I can't believe I'm even saying that because of how much I hated Bobby Hurley growing up. So,
yeah.
So
as long as it's not Patino Jr., I'm okay with it.
Yeah, well, I hear that too. So, yeah, I mean, he had his chance at Minnesota. It didn't work out. What's that?
I keep seeing people throw out Rick Pitino. Like, no, we're not going back there.
No, anytime we rehash, I think if anything, this area's learned that when you rehash coaches, it's not a good thing, right? So
Yeah. But this was the best team that he's had in a while. Cal's had in a while. This was our best shot. We blew it. So I think it's time for us just to move on.
I agree. I would agree.
All right. Thank you, fellas.
All right, Chris.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
the
it, man.
call. And you were asking about Dana Altman earlier. He's 65.
Yeah, he's old.
Yeah, I think you've got to get somebody under. You got to get somebody 55.
And again, this is why
lower.
I like Golden from that standpoint because he's 38 years old, man. You could get a 25-year run out of him.
But I just don't know that he's ready for this. We've seen what this job did.
It does.
Cal, what it did to him age wise.
What it did to Tubby as well. I mean, it aged Tubby something fierce. Yeah. And I think at the end of the day, though, like I love the way that guy coaches, the system they run, they game plan really well. I heard him speak a little bit before the SEC championship game. I think he could grow into that of being a big enough personality. I just think he's going to be a star.
We're going to head back to the phone lines here, and Joshua, you are up next. What's on your mind?
Hey, just a lifelong Kentucky fan, just, disappointed and gut punched like everyone else. But I just wanted to talk about, possible coaching replacements and throw out the suggestion of just Dusty May. Is he still available to take if Louisville didn't get him already? And also I don't understand why Cal just didn't play his best starting five. Just why didn't we go small ball at all tonight? Why didn't we try to put Trey at the 5 and put Edwards at the 4 and run with 3 guards? Oakland didn't have a guy over 6'8" or 6'9" on their starting, on their entire roster. But it just breaks my heart and just devastated. But ready to cheer on the Steph Curry tomorrow with Nebraska. So, but, that's about it. Thanks for taking my call.
Appreciate it, Josh.
Yeah, I don't have anything against Dusty May. I mean, I'm sure he, we'll see. He's been a head coach for just a little bit, and I guess you go back and you think about who he's been an assistant under, and he really doesn't have like a strong influence person. Even when he was at Indiana in 2000, was Mike Davis was just starting, or was it the end of the Bobby Knight?
No, that was Mike Davis.
Yeah. So,
Jared Jeffries. And
we'll see, man. We'll see what happens if there has to be a job open first. I'm not confident.
Well, I was going to say none of this matters if
there's not going to be a job.
We don't figure something out.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be a job open. I really don't.
I think it will, and the only reason I say that is this situation was getting really toxic before this year. The relationship with the press is dead, especially after you do what you did after the Auburn game and you come out, just cocky as all get out against the media. And how dare you write about me? How dare you say anything about these kids? And then you say what you did tonight and you throw the kids under the bus. The press are eating you alive already, and they're going to continue to do it. And they're going to continue to point out every time you talk to the media, which you don't do anymore.
No.
Every time you come to a press conference for 3 minutes, they're going to point out, well, you said these things last year and you lost in the first round again. The relationship with the donors is going to get toxic because why are they going to continue to fund you? I mentioned earlier that UK should cut off NIL. I know it's not going to happen. But at the same time, why are the donors going to continue to fund NIL and all this other stuff to watch you flame out in the first round? Because like you said earlier, well, next year we'll need 8, maybe 9 All-Americans and first round picks. And then maybe we can get to the second weekend. At some point, if I'm a donor, I love the University of Kentucky, but I'm not going to give you money.
Right.
I might give money to the program to buy you out. I might give money and say, hey, if you'll take X amount of dollars for your buyout, I'll help foot the bill on that. And then like Junior Bridgman did, I'll help foot the bill and I'll give some money for NIL for U of L. But I'm not going to give him more money to waste to watch him lose 10 games in the regular season and then get knocked out in the first weekend of the SEC tournament or the first game and then the first game of the NCAA tournament. Why would I do that? It's a bad investment. I'm getting no return on my investment. The Ticket sales are going to go down. The relationship between him and Mitch Barnhart was kind of awkward to begin with how things have gone the last year or two. Well, now Mitch is going to start getting it from all sides. There's just so much toxicity in this relationship and in this program that I don't know how he could even stand it another year. It goes past ego. It goes past money. It goes to quality of life. It goes to wanting to come to your job every day, wanting to coach this team. And I feel like this is a breaking point that is going to force all parties to come to the table. And somebody's going to walk away unhappy. Either Cal's going to get all his money, or Cal's going to get part of the money and get an honorary position like we talked about. I just don't see a way, and Dan Wolken laid it out perfectly earlier. I don't see a way forward where these parties can work together anymore. It feels like a marriage where the two parents have stayed together for the kids, but they can't do it anymore. If he stays, the fans are going to hate him.
Mm-hmm.
Does he keep all the players? That's another thing we haven't even talked about. He's talking about all these guys. Well, not even that. I'm talking about the guys coming in.
Yeah, the recruits.
This is twice in 3 years that he's failed in the first game of the tournament. Why would guys who are juniors and seniors who are in the transfer portal, why would they want to come here and waste another year when they see what happened to Antonio Reeves? They see what happened to Trey Mitchell. There is nothing that this man can sell to anybody anymore. He is a used car salesman who has used every trick he has, and nobody's coming to the lot.
Actually, you wouldn't be surprised to see if Mitch decides to, retire at some point here pretty soon too.
Where he doesn't have to make the decision.
Yeah, he's 22 years on his side. His athletic director tree is impressive. I actually think Mitch Barnhart's one of the best athletic directors in the country. I
think in terms of, I will agree with you in terms of running an athletic department, but I think in terms of making hires, that's where he falls short. And look, some people are great at their jobs, but have weak spots. John Calipari's phenomenal at recruiting. He can't coach X's and O's. Mitch has made, whether it's not just hiring Gillespie. You look at what's happened with the women's basketball program. You look at what happened with the baseball program. There are multiple
Baseball's going right now, though.
It is now.
Yeah.
But there are multiple hires that he has made in his tenure at UK that have been awful hires.
As a whole, though, I think the athletic program in Kentucky is way better than it was since before he was there.
Agreed.
As a whole.
You think he leaves and tries to bring PV? They try to bring PV back?
When you look at the guys who've worked under Mitch Barnhart, the athletic director at Alabama, the athletic director of Minnesota, the athletic director at Oregon, the athletic director at Florida, the athletic director at Auburn, Dwayne Peavy at DePaul, and the athletic director at Wichita State. He's got a tree. Kentucky would be able to fill that spot pretty well. So
you want to hear something surprising? We're going on 3 hours and we still have calls.
Oh, let's go.
Another Chris. This is Chris number 3 or 4 tonight on the UK Postgame Show. What's up, Chris?
Hey, how you doing, guys?
We're getting loopy at this point, Chris. I'm not gonna...
Yeah, no, it's another year ended with Cal's not calling timeouts at the end of the game still, and doesn't call X's and O's like he said. He's not a real coach. He likes to hang his players to drive. That whole idea of dribble drive offense. I see what it is. It's his lack of coaching.
Yeah,
he wants to throw his players under the bus when it comes to the end, and act like there's just he just wipes his mouth and walks away. And I don't know how they're going to turn it over, but I'd imagine it's going to be it's going to be a hot summer for him, and maybe they're going to throw some names out there. But Cal, I don't see him going anywhere because he's bringing the publicity to UK, and that's giving them the fun still, the donors or whatever. But as far as the fans inside UK, it's been horrible for the last 20-something years now, I guess. Ever since 98. I've been a fan since 92. Rick's runts and, Leitner shot all the way up to seeing Cal take over. Is just he's got talent, but he just doesn't.
What was it in 92, though? Were you is that just like how old you were and like the first team you remember, or is that Like, what was it about that 92 year?
Oh, well, that was with Mashburn and them.
Yeah.
When they carried through with Travis Ford.
Well, 92 was the 92 team was like the unforgettables, right? So it was Sean Woods and Pelfrey, and that was probably one of my favorite Kentucky moments because I was a freshman in high school, and then after they lost to Duke that night, I cried myself to sleep listening to K Wood's last words because that was K Wood Lefferts' last game. I don't know if people, the old timers will remember this, but they actually filled Rupp Arena. And when those guys got off the plane, they put them on the bus and they drove the bus right into the middle of Rupp Arena and did a little ceremony because of those, four guys, those four seniors, Sean Woods, Pelfrey, Farmer, Feldhouse. And then, of course, with the unbelievable recruiter, Jamal Mashburn, bringing this program back from Kentucky shame, that SEC, the Sports Illustrated cover that I'll never forget getting in the mail. And just knowing what those guys did to bring this program back, and when they retired their jerseys right there, right on the spot, it was pretty phenomenal. It was one of my favorite memories of being a Kentucky fan ever.
Yeah, and those are the good old days when even Tubby, his first year in Patino having two repeats of championship finals, 96 and 97, and it's just and the way they would win back then, it was great coaching. Tubby had at least he could call a play, but we lost that ability, the enthusiasm really. It's such a letdown for the last 20 years, one championship since I guess he came in after Gillespie in 2005 or something. 2001?
2009, yeah. 2009 was when Cal came in, right?
Yeah. So
we had Gillespie for 2 years.
As far as the money he's bringing in his publicity, that's for sure. Now it's this is the first game of the tournament, and now you see all the highlights of March Madness all being about the upset of Kentucky. So
that's what it is.
Get the recognition, but I don't know if he's just doing side bets on the side, because it's disappointing because I've been seeing it for the last 5-6 years where I recognize at the end of the games he doesn't call these timeouts.
Nope.
Even when they're hitting these threes and they're down by one and they're getting a turnover, he come down on this game with like a minute and a half or 3 minutes, and he still didn't call time. He lets him just, throw the little half across the court pass and get it, knocked out and taken down and fouled. And it's just like, Cal, what are you doing? Are you just spectating?
Well, man, I appreciate you calling in tonight, and hopefully it gets better. And we get a good, clear path forward. So we're gonna move on to
hopefully, they're gonna throw these coaches' names out there. I don't know if he's going to Texas still. If that opens open still, but I would say give Rick's son over here, coach. I don't know.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot.
Real quick before we get back to the phone lines.
Yeah.
So he's talking about the fact that this is a top story everywhere. You go to ESPN.com, it's the top thing on there. But they also have they have a piece with multiple of their writers, including Jeff Borzello and Myron Metcalf, talking about what went wrong, what was the turning point, et cetera. And then question, what does this mean for John Calipari's future in Lexington, and is there an obvious solution? And I want to read something real quick from this. Jeff Borzello says as part of this, quote, "The challenge is who to turn to after Calipari. Baylor's Scott Drew just announced he was staying at Baylor after Louisville knocked on his door for its current opening. Alabama's Nate Oates just signed an extension with a huge buyout. Iowa State's TJ Otzelberger would cost about $18 million to poach. UConn's Dan Hurley probably isn't leaving stores. Does Kentucky make a run at somebody like Billy Donovan? Between Calipari's guaranteed money, buying out its next head coach, and then paying the new coach's salary, we would be talking about a $50 million plus investment, but it will undoubtedly be a talking point." Myron Metcalf replied, "The Kentucky fan base will be more furious than it has ever been. The divorce rumors have been brewing for years, and this loss could make it all final. The Calipari buyout is a major factor, but the program is supported by people with deep pockets, and they may not have to pay the buyout all in one lump sum if it comes down to that. Calipari has dominated the one-and-done landscape and attracted both top high school recruits and elite transfers. With NIL in the portal, even the blue bloods aren't safe. The Wildcats would need a coach who has somehow been able to navigate the rapidly changing landscape. And that goes back to what I was saying. I don't want an older coach.
And a younger guy, yeah.
There's no clear replacement who can both duplicate Calipari's success and handle the pressure of coaching in Lexington. He's probably not leaving, as Jeff said, Borzello. But if Calipari does exit, you call Hurley's people, ask for a number that might make him think about it, and go from there.
I'd give Hurley 12.
Well, no, he's saying you call Hurley and ask what will it take.
What it take?
And then you negotiate from that point. We're going to head back to the phone lines. This is probably going to be our last call of the night because it is 12:30 in the morning. We've been going for almost 3 hours. And we think everybody.
We still got to do all of our
exactly. Expletives. Bleep, bleep, bleep. Justin has been waiting patiently. We bring him on next to give his thoughts. What's going on? Justin, you there?
They're showing a teary-eyed Reed Shepherd on
Oh, there you go. Justin, what's going on?
Man, I'm probably in the minority here.
Tell me about it.
Outside of Hurley, I don't think there's anybody that we can go get right now. Like, when you look back at this game, and I think you watch it a couple weeks from now when the hurt kind of settles down a little bit, you realize that, to me, Cal actually coached this game. But we missed shots that we haven't missed all year. And our two stud freshmen, and I mean, I went and watched Reed Shepherd play in high school. This is the worst game he played all year, Dillingham the same. It's hard to recover from that, even with the best coach, when your two best players who have carried you all year just ain't there tonight. And that's just my opinion. But I don't think we move on from Cal after this because, to me, he re-energized this program from last year. I know we went out in the first round, but this was a fun year to watch outside of that little stretch where we lost a couple in a row. We were scoring 100 points, 90 points. But I think we give him another year to see if he can figure it out unless we can go get Hurley. He's the only coach I think that would even be suitable to take him over. Otherwise, I think we go down for another 4 years until a coach can restart.
All right, thanks for the call, man. My big thing there is listen, I'm not going to disagree with. It was a really fun November and December, even with the Wilmington loss.
But you were saying even then, and I didn't fully agree with you at first
about the defense.
You were saying early on, this defense is bad.
Yeah,
this defense is not going to win you games. And how many times has the defense let this team down this season? You're not grabbing rebounds, not boxing out, committing stupid fouls. I mean, leaving guys wide open. I mean, you can't give him another year.
Yeah.
Look, this is not a guy who had a roster with injuries and things. He had the fewest injury issues he's probably ever had at UK. He had one of the deepest teams he's ever had at UK. We could have done the dreaded platoon thing again. We had enough talent. You had 3-point shooters. You had tall guys with lanky arms who could block shots. None of it mattered because they couldn't guard their man. They didn't have urgency coming out of the blocks. And, oh, yeah, 2 of our best players were starting on the bench every game because he's a stubborn dinosaur. You just took a screenshot and it went out all over the mics. So
that's right. It shouldn't have.
He's a stubborn dinosaur who refuses to adapt. He wouldn't adapt with the starting lineup. He wouldn't adapt in game. He wouldn't adapt to the modern game for way too long. It took him years. I don't trust him to do anything right at this point. And I think that's where the majority of the fan base was because we talked about it. With this team, you've got to get to at least the second weekend. You've got to make a run. You didn't even get through the first game. You didn't even get through the first day
of either tournament.
And the last caller talking about, this team was fun. Do you want to know what everybody's going to think about when they think back on this team? They're not going to think, oh man, I remember watching them and they shot threes and Reed Shepherd, almost had a 50, 40, 90 season and they ran up and down the floor. No, you're going to think, oh yeah, that's the team that lost to a school from Detroit that only got into the tournament because they won their conference championship. And they had a dude who somebody on the text line said looked like Steve Stifler who hit 10 threes. That's what everybody's going to remember. Because you know what I've heard about the team from 3 years ago from everybody ever?
They lost to St. Peter's.
Oh, that's the team that lost to St.
What
Peter's.
about the team that beat Kansas by 30-something? We don't hear that?
Yeah, exactly. That's the point. Nobody's going to remember anything from this season except for two things. John Calipari had arguably the second most talented top to bottom roster that he's ever had at UK and did nothing with them. And you lost to a dude that looks like he's going to be sitting in front of Congress in 10 years answering questions about why his hedge fund ripped off senior citizens.
How many different jobs have we given this guy? Oh my gosh. All right, let's go on. The phone number is 267-9680. Although I think did you turn it off, Zach?
No, but
no, it's not off.
I think if it weren't 12:30, we'd still be getting calls. I think other people have tapped out before.
They might have
did.
done it. We still have 6,600 people watching us online.
How many of them have fallen asleep? How many of them have fallen asleep and their laptops just sitting there?
By the way, that's a screenshot I was taking because I wanted to show Phil Baker the numbers. So that was that we've been going on. We're at 2 hours and 59 minutes and 33 seconds right now. So we're gonna top the 3 hour mark for sure.
People that fall asleep still count.
Hey, Zach, he's still here.
I am still here.
Zach, you have a take, by the way, since you've been answering the phone the whole time.
Everybody's giving all his takes.
Go ahead, Zach.
Man, yeah, nobody cares about what you did in December and January when how much fun they were to watch. Nobody cares about, Reed Shepherd and Rob Dillingham. They were such great players, and they lit the world on fire, and it was so much fun to watch. Nobody cares. Yes, John, your season is defined by what you do in March. That is literally the only
Good thing they're built for March, baby.
They are built for March.
Woo!
But when you're at Kentucky, this is the Cadillac program of college basketball. This
It's
is
the gold standard.
They have gone. This will be.
It's not for everybody, Zach.
It's not
for everybody.
And apparently, it's not for John Calipari anymore.
Not anymore.
Because this has been 10 years without a Final Four. That is unacceptable at Kentucky. It's been 12 years since they last won a national championship. It will have been 5+ years since they went to the second weekend of the NCAA tournament. Here's a stat for you that I saw earlier. Fairleigh Dickinson has 2 NCAA tournament wins the last 3 years. Oral Roberts has 2 NCAA tournament wins the last 3 years. Kentucky has 1. If that doesn't say it all, I don't know what does. John Calipari has to go. This whole thing has to be revamped. Kentucky basketball is better than what John Calipari has put on the floor the last 5 years. We can go back the last 5 years. 61% is a number you expect at Oakland, not Kentucky. This is unacceptable. Kentucky needs to move on. The fans are all over it. I give them full credit. Nobody cares about anything you did before now because all that matters is what you do in March. And John Calipari said it was a 10-year job. It should have been a 10-year job because if it was, he'd be remembered a whole lot more fondly. It's time for everybody to move on. Cut the cord.
Boom.
This isn't acceptable.
Texter said Wayne Tinkle won more postseason games in 2021 than both Kentucky and Louisville have in the past 4 years combined.
I just want to. We're getting one texter saying can't put it all on put it all on Cal, and again, I'm not reacting, and I don't think. I think I do a good job of this all year long. I'm not reacting to a game. I'm reacting to a direction. All right. I'm reacting to what we have seen trending historically. 62% winning percentage in the 2020s is not acceptable. No SEC titles in the 2020s when we're halfway through them is not acceptable. Not getting to the second weekend of the tournament in Kentucky at any time is not acceptable. So,
and the coach talking the way that he does to the fan, you could get away with that when you were going to Final Four every year. You can't be that condescending and arrogant and disrespectful.
That's his defense mechanism, right? That's his deflection, right?
I understand that. But you can't do that and then not deliver results.
And honestly,
because at that point, you're just being a bully.
That's what really upset me about. I mean, there's a lot of things that upset me about the press conference on Sunday at his out on his back deck or whatever he was doing. I actually didn't really care about the bowling thing. Actually, I think that's smart to take them bowling, to go get them to compete in something else besides basketball, as long as you're doing the other stuff too, right? But he kept on saying, like, those people aren't fans. The people who are being, who are expecting the standard that you said we're going to hold, by calling those people not fans, that is really upsetting to me. And then he's trying to bully people into being man, it's all about the kids, and
we want the standards lowered.
Yeah, right. It's not going to happen, man. All right, let's look at these. Oh, you have
Yeah, I'm going through. Unfortunately, we cannot read all of these, but I'm going through for any good ones here.
People stay pretty sober tonight, by the way. Unlike, of course, I guess people have to go to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
Unlike last Friday.
Texter says Reed Shepherd wouldn't be a first-round pick in the Special Olympics. I mean, come on. Really?
Reed Shepherd's going to be
Really?
a first-round pick for sure. This guy's got incredible basketball IQ. He had a bad game.
Oh, God. What did they do?
Who?
Rob Dillingham will be first team All NBA in a couple years. He'll be the Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
He very well could be.
Western Kentucky's trolling. This is
they're
WKU
still
Sports on Twitter. We're still dancing and ready to represent the entire Commonwealth. It's not too late to hop on the WKU basketball bandwagon, Kentucky fans. We play tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central Time on TBS.
Moorhead, unfortunately, got beat today, too. They look good for a half. Moorhead did, so.
I'm going to go to the top of the text line and go down that way. Texter says, I'm not asleep, just for the record. Well, we appreciate it. He says, 3 hours later, and I'm still in a full bleep Calipari mood.
I mean, again, let's go. Let's keep it 502-267-9680.
I mean, turn the phone lines back on. Texter says, Justin Edwards is 15 pounds overweight. That's why he couldn't dunk the ball. Patino would have had him on a treadmill 3 months ago. Texter says, go HVL. What? At least y'all ain't Venezuelan currency like Louisville.
There it is.
Texter says the future ambassador for Kentucky is a current embarrassment for Kentucky. Texter
Why
says,
would I take a $1 million job when I can get paid now $1 million?
Exactly. Texter says this roller coaster has come to an end.
It's $10 million next year, by the way.
Fun while it has lasted, but now I'm sick of it. Let's get a coach that retains and actually develops these young men. Hire Bruce Pearl. Secondly, and what's worse, John Calipari will go to another school and still recruit the best of the best without the target that Kentucky perpetually wears on its back, and he'll win. And he also said, thank you. This is therapeutic. And he literally just sent that. So we still have people listening.
We're therapy,
brand
man.
New text.
We're doing the thing.
Brand new text. Mitch Barnhart is reporting that Matt Jones will be meeting with Calipari in the morning to discuss his future. Wait, I wonder if I don't know if that's a joke or if that's
a call. Well, hold on. Let me go check.
Yeah, because I wonder maybe if he mixed that up. Or it could be a joke because he also said I'm blaming this on Drake. So, but it's also 12:45 in the morning, so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. He might have mixed things up. So yeah, while you're looking that up, Texter says when do Mr. Boots and cat? Oh, that's an old text about my cat. Leave my cat alone. My cat's awesome.
Cat people are weird.
Hey, here's the thing. Dog owners. Or let me rephrase this. There are studies that have shown that most narcissistic people hate cats because a dog will always be loyal to you no matter what you do, and it'll do exactly what you say. A cat, you have to earn its trust, and it'll do whatever it wants.
Exactly. Answering the phones right now.
Call. Texter says not political, but UK is a red, or Kentucky's a red state. Okay, never mind. Not reading that. Texter says underachieve and proceed.
That's the new mantra right there.
Yeah. Texter says any NBA coach is a good fit for Kentucky. I don't follow the NBA enough to be able to answer that.
No, I don't. The NBA,
and it's a whole different game.
It is. Although there's a lot of these talks about going to like more of a general manager and, and just having some person go out there and get your talent. I don't know. I can't find the back up that previous team, by the way. So,
yeah. Texter said Barnhart will hire Scott Drew. He is buddies with him and they're Bible study friends. No BS. Oh, this is a great segue. Texter says, please have Louis get Issel on his show in the morning. Thanks. Your wish has been granted. Louis Rabeau tweeted out a little while ago. The Dan Issel will be on Louis & Co. tomorrow morning around 10:15 a.m.
Louis will be at Turfway Park tomorrow. So
he said 11:20.
Well, I mean, Dan's going to call in and preview the Kansas game.
That's also
or talk about the Kansas game. Because Kansas won tonight.
No, they're still playing.
Well,
they're only
winning.
They're up 4 with 55 seconds.
Wow.
Yeah, Sanford came from 21 down to get it to 1. Sanford's about to get the ball too, so don't put in the win column just yet.
How could you imagine Dan has to call in tomorrow and talk about both his teams losing in the first round?
Look how old
he won't call
Golke looks in that picture. I mean, he's got to be 37. All right, let's go.
He was in Zion Williamson's recruiting class.
Yeah.
That just what in the hell, man? Texter says y'all going to get Mark Pope as the coach. No.
I wouldn't dismiss that.
Texter says Blankenbaker calls it a coaching stump. Okay.
That's fair.
Texter
Stumps,
says,
although stumps have roots, so
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know
true.
if that's fair or not.
Texter says they might as well install curtains and rope to block off the upper arena because they'll be able to fit everybody in the lower arena next year. That's how it's going to be for the gold standard until he's gone. Texter says, how is Barnes a fraud and not Cal? Oh, they're both frauds. Trust me, I ain't saying that. Another texter says, please call Dan Issel. He's still awake out west watching the Kansas game. We need his take.
You want me to text him?
That's a flex.
What? That's not really.
You want me to text Dan Issel? Let's see here. How do I get rid of this?
I'm texting him. Let's see if it's up.
Texter sent in. Man, this is from our guy Corey Price, who Locke had the balls to try to gotcha the other day.
Yeah, don't do that.
And of course, now Locke's out taking shots tonight, of course. But Kentucky head coaches' records in their last 126 games of the school. Rick Pitino, 110-16, 873. Adolph, I'm not going to read all the records. Adolph Rupp had an 825, Joby Hall 730, Tubby 722, Eddie Sutton 690, John Calipari 80-46 for a 63.5 winning percentage.
Dan might still be up. It's
Well,
like
we'll see.
10:48 right where he is. Like, he's 2 hours behind us.
Cal has not forgotten how to do it. He caught lightning in a bottle with Unibrow in 2012. He never knew how to coach, never will. Let's head back to the phone lines. We've got Casey up on the line next on the UK Basketball Postgame Show. What's going on?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
That's going all right, man. 3 hours and 10 minutes, Casey, and we're still taking phone calls. Let's go.
I appreciate it. I was calling the wrong number for a while, so glad to get through finally. I'm out here in Phoenix. I'd be up still, but, it's early out here, so nothing left to do. Walk to a bar, got some drinks, watching this Kansas game. But, you look at Golke and, hey, he went 10 for 20. We knew he was a three-point shooter. I kind of look at it. Who was the guy from Warford a few years ago we played? He was supposed to come out, drain a bunch of threes. We held him to 0 of them. We can't do that every time. This guy's going to make them. So, hey, he's making them. He's making ridiculous shots. Stop the other guys. You're clearly not stopping him tonight. So get these other guys contained. And if this dude makes some ridiculous circus shots again, okay. But between just not knowing how to attack a zone again, I don't know. I think they were in a 1-3-1 again, and just shades of West Virginia 2010. Okay, it sucks, but man, you look at the rebounding, like somebody had said, 8 offensive rebounds first 6 minutes for them. We had the chance to just pull away there at the beginning, and
We didn't do it.
Didn't do it. And then they gave us every opportunity. One possession game, we come down, and I had no confidence in the team come down offensively all night. And hey, finally we didn't, lose a tournament game by scoring 60 points and slowing it down with 8 minutes to go. But at any point during the game, I didn't feel confident. Hey, we're going to come down. We're going to make a play. We're going to get a rebound. We're going to come down and defend again.
And that's kind of how and that's really kind of a microcosm of the entire season, right? Like we start to not feel confident, and they do something that makes you feel confident, and then they let you down again, and it's a repeat. It's like you never feel comfortable either.
No, and Zach was watching with me. I said halfway through the first half, we're not winning this game. I got that horrible feeling of deja vu way too early in this game, and I didn't see it. It was the same crap we've seen so many times this year that you and I have talked about on this very show. No urgency, no fight. Doesn't seem like they really understand what this moment is. And this team continuously this year played to the level of their competition. If it was a big game, they showed up. If it was not, they came out and went through the motions because, well, we're Kentucky. I'm a 5-star. I'm going in the lottery. I can beat this guy without even trying. And not understanding that those dudes are playing Division I basketball as well. And they may not have the accolades or the bank account or the endorsement deals that you do, but they have something you don't, and that's fight. And that's hustle and desire and going out there and actually wanting to win. It mattered more to them to win than it did for you to win.
Yeah, it didn't seem you saw Rob. Rob didn't have a great game. Rob's got all the confidence in the world. I have no doubt in him. Reeves came out. He played amazing. Everybody else just seemed timid. Mitchell finally opened it up in the second half, but man, just the rebounding more than anything. It's the worst rebounding team in the Cal era. I think we ended the season I think it was plus 29. If what I looked at was correct. Even the 21 team, it was plus 50, as bad as they were. And we're just not used to seeing that. We always have the bigs down low. We always have guys that go and grab the ball. Even when we were getting wide open rebounds, it looked like our guys were just fumbling it around. It almost looked like they didn't know what to do when the ball comes off the rim.
Yeah, man. It's again, and when that happens, that means they're not practicing it, right? I mean, if it's important to you, you coach it, and if it's not, you tolerate it, and we're tolerating too much. So, hey, we appreciate the call tonight. You get something funny on there?
Yeah, and we appreciate the call, Casey. 437-9680 UPS Jobs Textline. Texter wins for the night. He said, Goki looks like if Minecraft Steve was a real person.
We still got another caller, right?
Yes, we do. And this is going to be our last call of the night, probably, unless somebody calls in while he's on the line.
Okay.
We're going to bring Matt in next on the conversation. What's going on, Matt?
Hey, how are y'all doing tonight?
We're doing all right. Closing in on 1 a.m.
Of course someone calls during.
Keep it going. Keep it going.
Yeah, I live out in Phoenix, Arizona. It's only 10 o'clock out here, but
our show's like moving towards the West Coast.
We're getting people
pretty soon.
Back-to-back callers from Phoenix.
Pretty soon we're going. Well, we went to Illinois too. Then we're going to keep going west, and in about 2 hours it'll be Hawaii calling in. That'll be great. So,
well, I'd just like to point out, as a longtime Kentucky fan, that I believe a lot of the problem with Kentucky right now are the expectations from the fans. From one perspective, John Calipari has shown you who he really is. And when someone shows you who they really are, you should believe them. Okay? You shouldn't make he meant this or he meant that. John Calipari has told you time and time again, he's at the University of Kentucky to take kids to the NBA, to create generational wealth for other families, for families of the players, so that they can make millions and millions of dollars and live happily ever after. He's never once said, I came to Kentucky to win national championships. I came to Kentucky to win SEC tournaments. So when a Kentucky fan watches a Kentucky basketball game, you should realize that the coach, number one concern is not you. Okay? It's the NBA.
It's a very good point.
So just leave it at that. All these people are hurt. They're upset. I got a text from my friend, graduated from University of Kentucky Pharmacy School in 1982. He sent me a text that said, I feel empty. Why? Why do you feel empty? Because your expectations don't meet reality, and reality doesn't meet your expectations. That's the definition of disappointment. It's just like the Dallas Cowboys. Every year, this is our year. We're going to the Super Bowl. Oh, this is it. This is it. And then nothing. When someone shows you who they really are, believe them and be done with it. Be done with John Calipari. He did what he came here to do. It's over. They thank you and good night.
So what are your expectations of the program as a fan?
What's that?
What are your expectations of the program? Not John Calipari's, but what do you want the expectations of the program to be?
I don't have any expectations of the program because when John Calipari was hired, I knew who he was. He was a Rick Pitino who couldn't coach. He was a used car salesman with slick back hair who couldn't coach a basketball team. And then they say he's a recruiter who had World Wide West do all his recruiting. So not only is he not a recruiter, he's also not a coach. But he's going to leave Lexington with $100 million. So who's the idiot here?
Casey, I mean, this great points.
Kentucky fan.
Great points.
You have World Wide West. He went to the NBA. You had John Calipari was here with nothing. And the University of Louisville hired a Calipari disciple named Kenny Payne, who was going to be You saw what he did to Louisville. Anything that John Calipari touches is like Hillary Clinton. It turns to shit.
All right. Well, we got to dump that too. Sorry, man. We can't do that. So.
All right. We were doing so well. Real quick, this Samford-Kansas game, apparently Samford just got absolutely hosed.
On an out-of-bounds call?
They made an insane chase down block. They were down 1. They made an insane chase down block, got a clean block, and the refs called a foul.
The Kansas guy flopped, and they called the foul, and so Kansas hit 2 free throws.
So what was the review?
To see who the ball went out of bounds, but it should be a 1-point game right now.
Oh man!
And
it would have been Sanford's ball because the block.
And they would have had a break in all likelihood.
Yeah,
I'm guessing this one went to bed, or he's two into this game.
Kansas is about to win. All they need is one more free throw. They'll escape.
Yeah, and texters texting us. We're gonna head back to the phone lines, and we're gonna get Justin in here. What's going on? Justin, you there?
So, bro?
Yeah, I'm here. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up?
How you doing, Justin?
I am good. What's up?
I'm good, man.
Last caller.
Was that it?
Hey, I got questions.
Yeah.
My questions are, Reed Shepherd is one of the most elite shooters in the country. Why aren't we screening for him to get more shots?
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah, I mean that makes zero sense to me.
You know what else would help? Maybe
are we starting DJ Wagner?
If Kentucky actually ran screens themselves, maybe they'd be better at guarding screens.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean if they practiced against actual set plays?
Yeah, I mean,
but that would require a coach who knows how to draw up set
or
plays.
Actually, when you realize that your 2 scorers who have been in the game for 8 minutes, because the first freshman to score for Kentucky tonight was when Big Z got that putback with 11:41 left to go in the first half. And not until Reed took this little elbow jump shot, much later than that. He rushed a shot. I mean, it was obvious. Like he was like, "Man, I just need to get something up."
I'll clean it all.
And at what point do you say, you know what? Those 2 guys are pretty important to us scoring. Let's get them the ball. Let's start. Try to get them going a little bit. Nothing. I mean, there's situational stuff drives me up. Just drives me up the wall, man.
Absolutely. We have, as I'm from Eastern Kentucky, and unfortunately, well, I wouldn't say unfortunately, but Kentucky basketball has been the forefront of our sports for my whole life. I was born in 1990. We don't have any pro teams, or we do not have any pro teams in Kentucky, to speak correctly. But, Kentucky basketball is more than one person.
Yeah.
So I don't want to get off on I really don't want to get off on a soapbox, but I will. The Mitch Barnhart, the Billy G hire was garbage. I don't know anybody that would disagree with the Billy G hire was garbage. So Conman Calipari came in looking for a retirement home. He found one. He had Pat Patterson, John Wall, all these elite players that really, they got their own offense going. But he had Robick, Coach O before he went to Florida, Kenny Payne, all these guys. Kenny Payne's a hell of a big man coach. I mean, Kenny Payne is a heck of a big man coach. I hate that he did not work out at Louisville, but he was a fantastic big man coach. But I apologize for getting off on the soapbox.
You're good, man.
Yeah, sorry about that. Anyways, why we've had rotation issues the whole season.
Yep. Not just this season, by the way. Not just this season.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. But we've had talent, but no rotation the whole season. So
Cal had
if
played
you are in-
6 minutes into this
I'm
ball
sorry,
game.
go ahead.
Cal had already played 10 guys. And,
Yeah.
part of the problem with the rotations, and we're gonna let it go after this if that's all right.
Yeah, that's absolutely.
Yeah. 10. You're in the tournament play. To me, you should be shortening your bench. You should not be playing 10 guys in 6 minutes.
Yeah.
And when you're doing that, the only reason he's doing it, and tonight's a perfect example, he's trying to still figure out who's going to freaking play that night and what combinations he's got to play. And this rotation issue shows up in this kind of moment because you can't get to a rotation and stick with it. And you got to, in the regular season, you stick through the rotation through the good and the bad, right? Because the rotation's got to grow. And you just got to understand that it's part of the formation process that you dwindling down to get to those 7 or 8 guys that you're going to play in the tournament. And you're not going to be playing 10 guys in the first 6 minutes. So, man, we appreciate the call.
Can I add one thing on top of that?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you don't mind.
Sure.
Okay, so basketball holiday is October 15th.
Right.
You know,
first day of practice.
Absolutely. God bless them. They get the summer. So if you have this team from June or May, whenever they come into Kentucky, whatever it is, from June to now in March, you should know who can do what with whoever, right?
You
should know.
You would think so, but you're recreating this. I mean, this is going to be a perfect example. We're going to be recreating this team from total scratch. You know, who does Jordan Burke stick around, or does he go to the transfer portal?
Yeah, but that's not. We're not the Division I multi-million-dollar coach that's getting paid to coach the team of Kentucky. You know what I'm saying? That's his job to do this.
And that's why you also went and played your games in Canada and all that other kind of stuff too, right?
Absolutely. That's his job. So that is his job to figure that out. You know your players. You get to know your players. You know who does what with who. And then you go from there. And then you get a 5 that does well, that scores, that doesn't get down 8 points starting out the gate, and they don't go down 10, 15 points starting out the gate. You know, and then we have to sub in and then try to come back. So, and the Cal's problem is he goes to, like, when he can't adjust mid-game, he just starts looking at the bench, and he's like, oh, we're going to throw in. We just throw in. There's no mid-game adjustments. He does not know how to do it.
Nope, you're right.
It's absolutely terrible. And I am sick of Mitch Barnhart for the Billy G hire. I'm sick of Mitch Barnhart for this hire. And you know what? And I don't want Bruce Pearl. And I know there's already memes out there that with Bruce Pearl with a freaking Kentucky shirt on, but by God, I do not want his baggage to come from Auburn to Kentucky. Do we go with a young fire-driven guy like Rick Pitino after Eddie Sutton?
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I want the young guy.
Do we look for another freaking guy looking for a retirement home?
Yeah, we'll go for a young guy.
What do we do?
It'll be a young guy. I appreciate the call. We're gonna call it quits with that one. We have no other callers in the base. So
Texter says, "Good luck with the rest of the show. I'm out of bourbon. Good night."
Yeah, that's the official that we should probably stop. 3 hours, 27 minutes. We're gonna go over 3.5 hours. We got to do the scoreboard right now. So this is I have it up. I don't know if you do. The UPS Jobs Top 25 Scoreboard. Shift your future at UPS Jobs. Apply today at upsjobs.com. I'm sure the UPS Jobs representatives were listening about, 2 hours ago to wait for to hear this read to see if their money is going to a well-sponsored thing. That we're here because we're talking about Kentucky's loss to Oakland 80-76. The 3-seeded Cats go down. Oakland will advance, and they will play North Carolina State. Kevin Keats pulling off the victory today in Pittsburgh. So North Carolina State with the win, and then North Carolina State beat Texas Tech. Where was the score on that one? The score 80-67. North Carolina wins. Other games: Sanford.
NC State.
NC State, right?
Yeah,
What did I say?
You said North Carolina.
Oh, North Carolina State.
They also won their game too, by the way. North Carolina.
North Carolina beat Wagner's 90-62. Kansas survives and advances with a 93-89 win over Sanford. You think they lose the next one?
Yeah, I think they do. I think
Yeah.
Kansas loses to Gonzaga.
Yeah. They think, okay, that's probably true. That'll be an interesting matchup right there to watch. Arizona takes down Long Beach State 85-65. Long Beach State gave it a half, but couldn't hold on. Iowa State takes down South Dakota State 82-65. Do you want Iowa State's coach? Was that a guy you'd want to entertain?
I don't know.
I don't really know enough about him.
I don't know enough about him, and I'm brain dead right now, so sure, why not? He's better than Cal.
Tennessee beats St. Peter's 83-49.
ABC, anybody but Cal. Well, not anybody.
Creighton.
AABC, almost anybody but Cal.
Creighton says, hey, we're a 3 seed and we can win. They beat Akron 77-60, and Akron's actually a legit 14 seed team. Illinois, another 3 seed that wins, beats Morehead State 85-69. I'll tell you what, those goals.
3 seeds winning was an option?
It was. Morehead, though, actually had the lead in the second half in that game, but they lose 85-69.
So we're not getting any Morehead?
We're not. No more Morehead. We're not. No more Morehead
the rest of the tournament.
Gonzaga takes down everyone was picking McNeese, and they're talking about Will Wade. Will Wade. He loses by 21, 86-65. By the way, Gonzaga puts a 48 spot on him in the first half, was up by 23 at halftime. Duquesne knocks Mark Pope out of the tournament, so Mark Pope is available to take the U of L job right now, 71-67. Oregon beats South Carolina 87-73, and probably what was the most disappointing loss for an SEC team today outside of Kentucky.
I was about to say, wait a second.
Dayton takes down Nevada 63-60. What'd you say?
I was gonna say that was crazy because Nevada led by 17 with like 6 minutes to go, and then all of a sudden
Dayton just stormed back.
Yeah, with 24-4 run to end the game.
Texas takes down. I really thought Colorado State was going to beat Texas. By the way, Colorado State. I mean, they were like, you know what? We know that Virginia scored 14 points and a half, so we're just going to go ahead and score 11. 11 points in an NCAA tournament game half. So 56-44. That game set college basketball back 70
2
years.
days.
2 days.
It set it back 2 days.
Washington State beats Drake. You know, we're not getting the 7-10 upsets, right? I mean,
no. Drake absolutely imploded. They choked. Heimlich couldn't have saved their asses. They were dribbling the ball off their foot in the final couple minutes, multiple times.
Can we actually, like, even outside? Well, let me just go on. I got one more.
Them and Nevada had a battle for who choked the most this evening.
Michigan State beats Mississippi State, which is another disappointing loss because I thought Mississippi State was going to hand it to Michigan State, but Michigan State won by 18. It was today outside of Kentucky losing because that puts a damper on it. Today was not like the normal first day tournament game.
There were good games early, and then the like 2 o'clock window sucked.
Well, what was the good game early?
Duquesne and BYU.
Yeah, that was it. I mean, and that game was never like, it wasn't like an amazing finish, or we didn't get this great, like, you know, did he execute on the last play or not? I mean, it just didn't seem there was
potential because you had a couple good halves and then they kind of petered out.
I mean, our game for the neutrals.
Yeah, that was probably the best game of the day.
Yeah, because the big dog went down. But
no, not even that. It was down the stretch. I mean, you got a guy hitting. If I weren't a UK fan, I'd have loved watching that. Dude hitting 10 threes, hitting leaning sideways shots. Dude looks like he's gonna be playing.
I guess I'm saying like the exciting finish. Like we didn't get any of those.
Well, that's the Drake.
Yeah, the
Kansas
game. You're right.
Real quick before we sign off, this is the perfect explanation for the season and why John Calipari is an absolute failure. This is from Sean Vinzel, Hoops Insight. Tonight, UK scored 37 points in 29 possessions with Reed Shepherd, Rob Dillingham, and Antonio Reeves on the floor. So 1.27 points per possession. Without all three on the floor, they scored 39 points in 40 possessions, which is 0.98. Just never were willing to build a plan around those three weapons.
Nope. Very true. What to watch for, presented by Cox's and Evergreen Liquors, your go-to liquor store.
Not Kentucky.
We are not watching Kentucky. The first game tomorrow will kick off at 12:15. It is going to be Northwestern versus FAU. I don't know which school Dusty May's going to go to, but it'll probably not be living in Boca Raton next year. It's probably pretty safe. Colgate will take on Baylor at 12:40. Then we go to UAB and San Diego State. Western does play Marquette at 2:00 tomorrow. At 2:45, UConn plays Stetson. Then Jamal Mashburn Jr. takes on Clemson at 3:10. Yale and Auburn is at 4:15. Colorado, Florida at 4:30. Texas A&M, Nebraska at 6:50. Duke will lose to Vermont at 7:10. Grambling will take on Purdue at 7:25. Bama and Charleston at 7:35. Houston and Longwood at 9:20. James Madison and Wisconsin, which I think could be a really excellent game, at 9:40. TCU and Utah State at 9:55. And the last game of the first round, or the round of 64, I guess is what we got to call it. St. Mary's, Grand Canyon, 10:05 tomorrow night. If you're hungry and you want to come out to Boom Baza Westport Village, we'll be there from 5 to 8 to raise some money for Let's Dance Louisville, or you can just donate on the site. Anything else? Zach, thank you for all your help this year.
Seriously.
I mean, this is actually the culmination of the football and basketball, all the post-game shows. It's going to feel really weird not to have a post-game show for, months. I get a little break.
Kidding.
It's like
Got
a
little
6-month break.
Yeah. A little sabbatical, vacation, whatever you
I'm
want.
sure I'll still be on the radio every once in a while with Louie and stuff, but
Yeah, you'll be reduced.
Horse race
You'll have
stuff.
the 10-20
Down to horse
I'll
racing.
be out till September.
That's it, man.
Sucks.
We'll be back though next year. We're already talking about things we want to do.
I mean, I forgot you had the charity thing tomorrow night. I was gonna say, tonight. I was gonna say we could do something on ESPN Louisville Plus, but I'm sure we'll
Maybe
have
Saturday or
plenty-
Sunday.
I'm sure we'll have plenty to discuss. Like UK's next game.
And look for that too. I think that with the ESPN Louisville Plus, we have the ability to have things pop up, and so don't be surprised if Vince and I just pop up and just do a fan show at some random Tuesday or whatever.
Maybe to discuss UK's next coaching hire.
Well, that happens. We're definitely going to be going another 4 hours, right?
Man,
I was like, we're at like 3 hours and 35 minutes, man. It's
they
like, come
said
on,
to talk to-
25 more minutes. Let's go.
They said to talk to your doctor if that happens.
For the last 4 minutes or longer, yeah.
No, if you last
4 hours,
4 hours,
4
yeah.
hours longer, yeah.
Louis ever goes on vacation again and I end up guest hosting, then I'm going on both of you. So
Yeah. All right, man.
pop
Well,
back up.
I stepped on that. Unfortunately, I will be working, but yeah.
All right. Well, let's play
No
this
more
out,
radio
Zach.
for you for a while.
Kentucky loses. Season's over. We'll see you next year.
Thank you. By the way, thank you for all the calls tonight because y'all are awesome. Y'all are why we do this show. Thank you to all the texters, even though we couldn't get to all you guys. Join us next year.